All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Snowden, the man.
No.
What do they call it? The realtor whisperer,
No.
if you will.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say anything about
So
that.
traditionally, Ben, we start off, we warm these questions up.
Mm-hmm.
We do some icebreakers, which we're going to do. But this brown bag, I need to know what's in the brown bag you bought.
Yeah,
So,
I keep it classy whenever I'm sitting down with classy folks. I have a lot of these lying around the house.
sorry, we're kicking them over.
So it's a bourbon that everyone enjoys. It's not an expensive one, but Buffalo Trace is a hot commodity. You gotta look for it. You gotta find it, and
I feel honored,
it's a less than $30 bourbon, and it's a big distillery out there in Kentucky, and for the price, you can't beat it. So when you said you'd only had it once, I was like, oh, dude, I gotta bring this on.
Again.
Yeah, so that way you can add it to the collection. And every time someone has something, you have to name drop. You have to name drop me. No, I don't care. No, don't do that, please.
I'm going to do it every time.
No.
Even if they don't, I'll be like, hey, you want Buffalo Chase? Ben brought it.
There you go. That's all you need to say. Yeah. You can just say Ben from Real Producers paid for it. It's a whopping $2 a pour. You know.
Look at that. This is like real. Joe Rogan drinks Buffalo Trace on his show.
So I watched the episode where they brought his guys in. Buffalo.
You want to go something else, right? Or you want to?
How many do we have during this?
Shoot, Ange, how many did Dalton Tanner and I think we had like 3 or 4.
All right, tell you what. I'll start. I'll have one with you.
Okay.
So that we can have
you
have the first one
You
together.
pour your pour then. That way you can change up if you want to.
Yeah, it's all good. We had.
We had Tanner Hall from Lifespace.
Yep.
He came out a couple days ago, and we had fun. We had a lot of fun with him, all down the rabbit holes. I'm gonna cover up Athena here, the eternal goddess. So yeah, I'm gonna try this before you. I'm excited. So this is just like regular Buffalo Trace. Is there like a bunch of different?
So that's the thing. Like I haven't seen anything else. When they were on the Joe Rogan show.
Oh, that's good.
That's
really good.
On the Rogan show, he was trying all kinds. I think there was like 6 to 8.
Right, there was like
an
assortment.
And he was crushing them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're going to be bye-byes here any minute. Like, I thought he would like try it nice and slow. No ice. But he was like, I think it was what it was is like, this one's aged 6 years, this one's aged 8, this one's aged 10. And then they had some other stuff that I think we'd probably have to go find to the distillery or go to Kentucky, because when my buddy came back, he came back with all this Buffalo Trace stuff 2 years ago, and I'm like, he's like, you ain't gonna see that
can't get it out here,
not in the Pennsylvania stores.
Yeah, I'm in. We'll take a trip. Let's take a road trip.
You want to?
Yeah,
we'll do the what do they call it, the walk, not the walk, the trail, the bourbon trail.
Okay,
you go out there for a day or 2 and you hit up. You pay a couple $100 depending on how many people you have, and you stop at so many distilleries. You do a tour, do a tasting, and you get to go to the stores afterwards.
Yeah.
So like, my boys and I were like talking about doing this, but like, of course the wives were like, you can't go out there for for 3 days with that group. And I'm like, come on, we'll be all right.
I need a permission slip as well. So
for me, I don't have kids, so I have the like whatever guys, but they're like, they don't trust.
You're that friend.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely not the one that has to worry about as much as they do.
I would definitely do that though.
It's something like if you wanted to do it in the summer, like late summer, early fall, you probably would want to start planning it now for next August. Yeah, that's what I would, next September.
Yeah, that's the shit that intrigues me more now. Is like doing cool, like it's fun. You still get, we'll probably still get fucked up a little bit, but making those memories with friends. Other than like, the old days of just like getting shit faced,
just sitting around and drinking
doing
beers.
Nothing constructive. Let's be efficient with our intoxication at this point.
Well, that is, it's fun because like you get older, and you have to start making time for those type of things.
That's true.
And everybody, if their kids are older now my buddy's kids are in their families or in sports, and they're in school, then you really got a plan, and you appreciate it more because you knew everybody is sacrificing family time for it, or versus just. Yeah, we're going out to act up. We're going out to get act up for a few days.
That's fair. Yeah, it's so bad for me. We had just yesterday was baseball practice, soccer practice. My other son had to go somewhere else. It was just like the spring and summer is so chaotic for us that it's nuts. So
I get it.
Have that. But yeah, let's jump into these like quick little icebreakers. I don't think we really need them. I think this is going to go stupid fluid.
Okay, cool.
I still want to ask these because they're fun to ask. So first question, if I gave you $1 million right now, which isn't going to happen, but if I did, what is the first purchase you would make before the end of the day? Instant. First thing you're thinking of.
Does it have? It has to be something like cool.
It does not. No, it needs to be the first thing that comes into your brain. Like right now, you're picturing.
I mean, like when you say purchase, I would say, "Oh, just pay off my mortgage."
Okay.
You know, but but if you're like you want to get something cool, then I'd be like, well, I would like to get a surplus. One of the things I'd buy is a surplus Humvee. Okay. And I would deck it out with one of them Tipman 9mm Gatling guns to put on the back of it. But that's a very small fraction of. Right. That'd be like $100,000.
Yeah, what are you gonna do after that?
Yeah. I mean,
it's still a really good purchase.
I mean, I would be kind of boring about it, honestly. Like I'd be like, oh, just pay that off and
make adult financial decisions.
Now if you'd asked me that 10 years ago, it would have been kind of a different. It's like $1 million worth of Buffalo Trace,
right? You know? All of it, all of the Buffalo.
Yeah.
No, that's a good answer. I like how you went straight to the TAC vehicle. That's good.
My buddy and I. This came up a couple weeks ago. We were joking. We were hanging out, and I said something about buying something my wife wasn't happy about. Yeah. And she's like, "Why did you get that?" And I just went I went to the chaos of the world, and I said, Russia. Yeah. And she was like, oh, that makes. And she actually was like, wait a minute, what is wrong with you?
But she agreed with you for a second.
And he laughed at that story, and then he was looking at. He's a Marine, so he is into the same stuff we're into. Yeah. And he texted me. He goes, I was looking at these military surplus Humvees on sale for like $80,000. Yeah. And his wife was like, why are you? He's like, I'm gonna sell the motorcycle and sell this, and we're gonna get this. And she was like, why? And he goes, he's like, I tried your line, Russia, and she just looked at it and walked away. No, so it was fun. It was just like guys buying dumb stuff because we like dumb stuff.
I went down that rabbit hole substantially about a year ago. I do a lot of I watch a lot of YouTube, like Demolition Ranch. I don't know if you've ever seen him. No. Like these gun videos, YouTubers, and they were talking about that. And my whole life, I've always wanted a Humvee, like always. Not like an H1, but like a legit M1, legit. And got on this rabbit hole of YouTube videos where you get them, so they get them from like the government bids, like the whatever you call it, the auctions. Yep. And then rebuild them, get this stuff. There's like swap meets. Like, dude, I was on this kick for I don't even know how months. I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm 100% doing this. I'm watching these restoration videos. You could do whatever you want with them. So, like, my brother was in the Army, and we were always talking about when they would take Humvees out. Like, you could climb a wall with a fucking Humvee, bro. Like, there's literally the hard part, like the armored doors and stuff. You can't. It's hard to get as a civilian. Yeah. But everything else is still really. If you know
the right people and you're patient, and you could find it. I mean,
I'm sure it's possible.
The people that they get their hands on nowadays, I'm sure that if you know the right people and they know the other people, you'd be able to get your hands on it. I don't know if it's street legal. Is it street legal? Is it street legal?
I mean, they're monsters. Well, here's the thing. Jason Checo, our owner, he's in line to get one of those Rivians, those electric trucks. Okay. Which, whatever, to each his own. I think they're badass, actually. The more he shows me, the more I think they're badass. Those things are like 12,000 pounds. Like they're stupid. They're heavier than like a baseline M1, like 100%. So I'm like, well, if he can drive that, why can't I have a fully armored Humvee? Because the weight wise, like there's certain bridges that dude can't go across.
Oh God, no.
So I'm just making an argument that it should be possible.
Well, maybe that's something we start right after this, as we start saying.
I'm in, dude. I'll do all the work. I watched all of it, and it's awesome. It's so cool.
Now I know what I'm watching tonight before I go to bed.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'll send you a couple YouTubers over that. Like that's all they do. They'll get these auctions. They'll get them for like $5,000-$6,000.
That's it.
And then sell them for like 150 all like tacked out. They got like ostrich leather seats. They take the roof off. There's like the one dude is his project right now is he has
that's a hell of
the
a flip.
machine gunner's hole. Mm-hmm. So he has the hole. He's putting a swivel chair in it and everything. Like so cool, dude. So cool. And then they like take them in like the local towns, Christmas parades.
Okay, if you had $1 million, I'd buy one of those.
That's it.
Okay,
See?
there you go.
Win. It's a win. So let's skip that because we could go on to that.
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. It was like an hour later.
Favorite superhero?
Dude, I always like Wolverine. Like,
You come off as a Wolverine.
Yeah,
I think I saw a Facebook picture of you pretending to be Wolverine.
I was Wolverine for Halloween 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay,
When my beard wasn't as white. My cousin was like, "Let's go superheroes." I was like, "Dude, I'm too old for this."
I love it.
And he goes, "Just do it." And I was like, "Okay." He didn't have to twist my arm.
Right.
Yeah.
You embraced it.
Yeah.
That's
But I
nice.
liked them when I was little. Like when the X-Men cartoon was out. It was like I was like 8 or 9. Now granted when Marvel Studios came out and like Iron Man and there's always been Batman, but I always liked Wolverine before Hugh Jackman took on the character in the movie.
I think Hugh Jackman did an amazing job as Wolverine.
It's sad that he's gonna be replaced soon, but it's one. He did it 20. It's been 20 years.
That's my biggest fear with. So mine is Iron Man. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with Iron Man. I've always been obsessed with Iron Man. And Robert Downey Jr., what he did with the character was like
perfect.
Like I have a hard time watching Robert Downey in any other movies
because he just like
other than like blackface in Tropic Thunder because that was
I've been watching that a lot lately.
Epic, like it was perfect. But it fucks with me, dude. Watching him in anything, I'm like. You're Iron Man.
Yeah,
like,
you're not some the movie with the dude from Hangover, where he would like when his wife was pregnant, they were trying to get back. Yeah. He was really good in that. He was hilarious, but
dude, he embraced it too.
He did. He did. I mean, they said basically that's Tony Stark acting like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, 100%. And I can't. I'm not gonna be ready if the rumors and everything are true and. Somebody else is going to be Iron Man, like a multi-universe Iron Man. It's going to fuck with me, dude. I'm going to try and be as faithful as I can, but it's really going to mess with me.
Yeah. There's just certain people that nail it.
Yeah.
And when they come back around, it's just like, it's not the same.
It won't ever be the same.
Yeah.
No.
So
shout out to Robert Downey Jr. if you're watching.
Yeah. If you're checking this out, Hugh Jackman, Robert, you're number 2.
Yeah. Number 1 in my book, though.
Yeah.
Let's make note of that. All right, next question. 2 people that are no longer on Earth to have dinner with. 2 dead people.
And it could be anybody, family.
Anybody, yeah. Absolutely anybody.
2. I'd probably say my uncle, who passed about 11 or 12 years ago. He was really cool. Probably my grandmother.
Nice.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
So family.
I like the family, dude.
Not
many people go to that answer. I like that a lot.
Well, if you bring back someone that you thought was cool and it was a dick.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this sucks. I freaking brought you in and I thought you were awesome.
Right.
You're like, that would suck.
Yeah. Like
I raised you from the dead for an afternoon and you're a freaking terrible person. That's the worst.
No, that's true. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the stories you hear. That might not be the type of person they are, you know?
Yeah. Well, you see, people love their celebrities.
Yeah.
And then you see them and how they act with their fans.
Right.
And sometimes they're great.
Sometimes they're piles of shit.
Yeah. And you're just like, well, you still enjoy like what they did on the court or on the field or in the movies or whatever. But yeah, I guess if you like, we're going to bring someone back, I want it to be someone that like,
would be worth it. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. No, that's actually a really good way of looking at it. I like that a lot, actually.
What about you? Who would you be? Who was the thing?
Well, now I got to rethink my whole fucking answer.
I screwed up. You were like, well, it would have been
like Abraham Lincoln. No, I'm gonna have to like just because of your delivery, I would have to do that. I would have to say my grandfather, my dad's dad, Opa, and who is legitimately the most intelligent person I've ever met in my life. This dude was so like grew up in the Depression, like didn't have nothing. Everything had an assignment. When you're a kid, you don't appreciate that kind of shit, like reusing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for sponges, like this is so dumb, but like for sponges and stuff, like you're using in the sink, he would use like an old carton, like an old laundry detergent carton. He'd cut that open and then hang it on the inside of the cabinet, and that would hold this. Like stuff that you would buy for $30 at Home Goods.
But that generation just knew how to make something from anything.
Yes. And then I'm like, why can't he just buy like this?
It's a lost craft.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely him. One of the things I'll never forget, he had mentioned, so they lived in Buffalo, New York. He was actually, my grandfather grew up in the Netherlands, and my grandmother. When they had my dad, they had 8 kids. My dad was, I think, 2 or 3 when they moved to the United States. And they had so we were up in Buffalo, New York. We were out towards Niagara Falls, and they were putting in all those big windmills, like the big GE efficient windmills. And he had brought up like the fins. He's like, why are those fins smooth? He's like, they're smooth. He's like, if you put texture on them, it would create more friction with the wind. It would be more efficient, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this motherfucker's a genius.
You're
like, there were so many little things like that where he's like, what if you did it this way? And I'm like,
there's engineers out there going,
yeah,
damn, I never thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just so many things. So he would definitely be one. And then obviously, my brother that passed away in 2018, Brad, that was my big brother. So I need to make sure he sees what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Make sure he knows that, I'm still carrying the torch for us.
As we were having this conversation, there was like other ones I thought of too.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine that passed like randomly, a few years ago in his 30s, and he was into like, he was one of them really intelligent guys, like a grandfather, old school.
Yeah.
But he would be like everything that's going on in the world. He would be digging. He'd be a digging machine, and just like to get his take on it. Yeah. Because he was always looking under the surface of what was really happening. Right. And I'd be like, that'd be an entertaining lunch or dinner to bring someone back.
That's such a the older we get, I see it with my kids and just people in general, and social media is just like that style, like that breed is legitimately dying. Like there's very few, like my father I put up there, like he's a very close version of my grandfather. But it's like, I don't feel like I have that switch where it's just like they can see something. It's such a different angle. And I've tried to make, whether it's real estate, whether it's home life, whatever it is in my life, I always try and pick myself out of the situation and see it from a different perspective, or try and get a different angle on it. Like metaphorically speaking, I want to try and see all angles of everything before I execute.
Yep.
But I don't feel like and I don't know if it's because we hold them in such high regard, but I don't feel like that caliber is like, they're different, dude.
Well, the problem with nowadays is everything's so rushed. We want to get it done yesterday. And sitting down and thinking and planning is like falling by the wayside.
It's true.
No one wants to like sit down and like put it on paper. They go, we'll just go to the store, we'll go get it and we'll figure it out.
Right.
And you try to rush through it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, now I have to go back to the drawing board because I didn't
measure.
It's.
If you if you don't have time to do it right, you must have time to do it twice.
Yes.
And that's.
Yes.
And that is like, he never, if you like thinking about my grandfather more now, is like they never moved fast.
No.
In any aspect.
The world wasn't moving fast.
Yeah. They just, he'd look at it, he'd think about it, he'd maybe do something little, then come back to it. Mm-hmm. But that art form is no longer available.
Everyone's got something coming up, and they got to get it done beforehand. My 86-year-old neighbor's out there piss farting around every day.
Yeah,
because he's been retired for 20-some years. Yeah. He's next door. He's over there. He's a project. He's 86.
Yeah,
he's got a project every day. He pulls down the truck bed. He has his little tool shed, and he's working on stuff. Yeah. And I'm like working on something over the weekend. He's like, oh, you just need to do this. And he's like cutting wood, and he's like measuring, and he's taking his good old time. And I'm like, come on, dude. And I was like, we don't got all day. But he's like, I'm 86. I have
as much time as I need.
Yeah. But you're like, wow, man, the perspective.
Yeah.
It's
you can't Amazon Prime it.
No.
That's the reality of it. Check, make sure our time's good. So last question, and this kind of like ties into everything, but so I asked this question first. All these other questions are, some of them get the same. Like I know you saw Dalton's episode. We didn't really touch on those, but the one question that I ask everybody, and I know you watched Dalton's episode, so you probably know what's
Not
coming.
all of it. Like honestly, when it got into the work stuff, I was like, I want to get to the people, like the normal people stuff. Right.
What is one thing that you have to do before you die?
Oof. I guess since we talked about it, I guess I got to go in the Bourbon Trail. Now I got it. I was like, but I have to go with the right people.
Yeah,
it's got to be the right people. My brother's got to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen. I feel like we'll make that happen. And that's not even that. It's not even that big a thing. People go, I want to take my family I have a lot of Italian friends. I want to go take my family to Italy.
That's what Chris Vicero's answer was.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think I heard him say it. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, but does that really excite? If that excites you, then great.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, man, I'd like to just have. It's all about an experience.
Right.
Honestly, when someone says before I die, I want to buy a blah blah blah. No, you don't.
Yeah.
I was like, then freaking save the money and go get it.
Yeah, that's the impulsive
it's like you want to do something that when you're rolling out and your day is closed, like, damn, that was a good time. That was I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah.
Now that something might come up, but we just talked about it, and that was the first thing that popped in my head. That's what I want to do.
Listen, I agree, man. I value that more and more, and as we get older, I mean. My life specifically, people die every fucking day. Dude.
Every day.
I've buried so many friends, loved ones, whatever else, and it's like you don't think about the purchases. You don't think about the material shit. You think about the moments.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you remember that time we just fucking got bored and went to the zoo?
Yeah.
Like for no fucking reason. Like,
well, you guys went to the zoo? It was awesome. We had a blast.
Well,
it was sporadic.
It was very organic. It was very just like, hey, let's go do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or, spending hours drinking and playing like OG lawn darts. Like OG lawn darts in the yard. No phones, no social media, no nothing.
Little did we know we could have killed each other.
Oh, died. Bro, I still have them. I still have legit
They're
lawn
the best.
darts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like they gave those to kids. Like it's nuts.
Kids were tougher then.
Yeah.
They get thrown in their arm and the parents would be like, pull it out, wrap it up, you'll be fine. Get back,
dirt
jump in the pool, you'll be fine.
No, it is. It's times have definitely changed, man.
To say the least.
I wanted to. We do got to talk a little bit about work stuff.
Of course.
Very short period of time, and we can jump in and out as we please. Yeah. But let the world know. So you work for Real Producers. What actually is your title? Because we just look at you as the Realtor Whisperer.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about Real Producers and what it is.
All right, so we're a franchise, so this isn't just in Pittsburgh. We're all over the country. Okay. So I'm a franchise owner. The company calls us area directors. Okay. So I'm the area director of the Pittsburgh Real Producers franchise. So
that's fancy.
You don't have to buy into it. It's a ramp-up type deal. Okay. So years ago when my buddy Mike heard about Real Producers being a thing in 2016, I think is when they started experimenting with it in Indiana. He's like, we're going to open one in Pittsburgh. And we were already working with 7 high-end neighborhood magazines.
Okay.
So we were legitimately selling advertising then.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, we don't need another product on top of 7 there's a lot of crap to do with this. He's like, we'll see how it works. It might be something that we end up just doing that. And after it launched in 2017, and we saw the type of clients that we worked with, you guys. It was just, this is something that is legit. We can really help people. We can actually, there's a service that's provided. My buddy in Charlotte, he opened his up about 6 months before we did.
Okay.
And I was down there. He lives on Lake Norman down in Charlotte, so we go down there, hang out on the lake every Memorial Day. And I was picking his brain. I was like, our first issue is about to drop. You've been doing it for a few months. What do you think? He's like, I feel like we're actually connecting people. Yeah. And the whole purpose is connecting, inspiring, bringing people together.
For sure.
And I was like, oh, okay. It sounds kind of too good to be true. You have this product, a magazine that goes out to realtors reading about realtors, right. High-end realtors. Yes. And then having parties with them.
Yeah.
And he goes, yep. And I went, all right, man, why not? What the hell? Let's give it a shot. And so that's my title's area director. That's okay. But you can call me whatever you want. I don't care.
I mean, you're Ben to me.
Yeah. I honestly don't get caught up in titles.
Yeah.
And someone says, what do you do? I was like, I work for the magazine.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. Well, first off, what you're doing is great. Obviously, Lending Heights, we're, involved with you guys. But going to your events and hearing the way that people talk about you and everything like that, to your face, not behind your back. You don't want to hear that kind of stuff.
I actually do. I wouldn't mind.
No, it really is. a staple in the industry now with the way that you guys have handled the magazine. I mean, the articles are super cool, but I think what it does, and it kind of ties in with this podcast on a, you know, microscopic level, is you're just bringing people together. You know, you're letting people see a different side of that agent that, you know, traditionally all they see is the fancy headshots. They see, you know, all this, you know, the social media blast or whatever else. But then, you know, you can open a Real Producers magazine and see like, oh, these are their kids. Oh, this is what they enjoy doing. You know what I mean? So you're bringing a very human aspect into something that is 1,000% professional 24/7.
Yeah.
So I personally, like I said, I love checking the magazine out. I love your events. They're always a good time. And I know it's probably difficult because realtors are realtors.
Yeah.
You know? So
and these are like the top realtors.
Right.
You know, there's 8,700 licensed agents out there, but we're catering to the top 5, 6%, 7%.
And they know that they're the shit.
Yeah.
You know
well, they are.
They earned it.
I mean,
100%.
they're not. They're crazy. They know they're crazy.
Yes.
They work their asses off.
Right.
You guys work. I mean, everyone in the industry that's doing well works hard for it. Nothing's given.
No.
And
it's a very, very cutthroat industry. It's stressful. Yeah. It's, you know, you think you're winning, and like I think the biggest thing is like there's no cap to what you can make, but there's also no floor. Like you can literally lose your whole ass in this industry.
No one talks about that.
No, nobody wants to. No. I will. I'll talk about it all.
Yeah,
fucking day.
Go for it. Yeah,
because I've had deals. I've had it where I'm like, you know, we don't get paid till the end, just like agents, you know, just like title, just like everybody. And people can walk. Things can change. Lives are in the balance from day one till you close. And even for lenders, sometimes after that. Yeah. So there's situations where, like, you know, Jason always says, like, your chickens ain't hatched yet. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, I got this, and this in the pipe and this. And then that one day, all hell breaks loose, and it's like withdraw. And
you're like, I just made negative $3,500.
Yeah, I'm fucked. You know, so there's the highs are highs and the lows are lows for sure. But that is a testament to these agents that you're supporting. You're giving them their shine because they fucking earned it. Yeah, you don't get there by accident. Nobody fell into some sort of situation to get anywhere near Ben Snowden. Like you had to earn that. I guess what is, you know, with your speech. So we'll go back to the event we just had at the casino. Okay. Yeah. You know, your speech, you know, you shot these agents up, but like my favorite part about it is that you still don't lose while you're doing it. Yeah. And I feel like that could definitely get overlooked over time. When the bigger you get, the more intense the events, blah, blah, blah. But like you still took your time to bring up helping each other, to be in a community and you know, team. So like I know you're a basketball coach. Yeah. So do you feel like do those correlate as far as why you're able to kind of corral these people? It
probably helps more now than it did. I mean, 3 years ago, you know, I mean, I didn't take over Pittsburgh Real Producers until the start of chaos, May of 2020. Yeah. You know, and we really weren't able to corral, but we still had basketball, you know, so. Right. But I mean, you know, those are high school girls compared to, you know, adult real estate agents. Is there a difference? It's, yeah. I mean, sometimes shit. I mean, you think, oh, they're all crazy, and, you know. But I think it's always good to just remind everybody, like the why. Like they have a why for why they get up every morning. For sure. And you know why they're doing everything and working hard and why they have their goals and everything like that. And everyone always talks about that. Yeah. It's always important to just remind them, hey, this is why we're here. We're not here we're here to have a good time. We're here to, you know, party or whatever you want to call it. But it's like the purpose of this, the why behind it is so that, you know, if you're in this county or this county and you're cool with, you know, maybe you can meet someone that, you know, you don't have to be best buddies with, but you have a good vibe. You actually can talk to one another like adults and not act like children. You know, they might behoove you. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're with to, you know, look out for one another, and they might be able to help you. You might be able to help them. And I've seen it happen. Oh, for sure. I've seen it. And that's like the things where I'm like, holy crap, this actually works. Yeah. Like where the agent's like, oh yeah, I called so-and-so in, you know, Westmoreland County, because I don't go down there, and they're in, you know, Butler County. And I'm like, for real? I was like, you know them? They're like, oh yeah, we met them at an event, and they, you know, I have some friends down there, and I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's the whole purpose of this. Now, granted, they might not be best buddies and hanging out all the time, but I was like, it works out for everybody.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, so when I was speaking with everybody a couple weeks ago, it was just to remind them, like, hey, you guys said 2 years ago you guys were in this together. Yeah. And it kind of didn't seem like that there for a minute after when May hit and you guys, the floodgates open and you went back to work. Right. Because it is hard and it is competitive and it's tough.
It's very tough.
But you work really hard for what you're doing. You can put the same effort into taking care of one another because you never know when you might need them.
For sure.
And people always overlook that. I was like, I won't need them. I was like, how do you know? You never know. It's a small world. Yeah. Pittsburgh, what do they say? It's a big town. Yeah. It's not a city.
No,
so
it's so small.
Everyone knows everybody's stuff. So we'll just say that.
That's the truth. Yeah. That might be the truest thing we say today. And that's you never know. You might have done this or done that or came in with that mentality, and then that one deal that you really need to sink, that person's on the other side of the transaction.
Yep.
And you're like,
I treated them like shit 2 years ago and told them this and that, and then now they're going to get their vengeance. And you're like,
and you can't put it past them.
No, and and then you don't. But the thing is, it's so much. You tell kids, it's especially when you think about like the bullying thing that goes on in schools now. But we used to, like, growing up. That was it. You had to sink or swim.
Earn it.
It's different now. People remember things. It's harder to be nice, right? It's easy to be mean. It's easy to be a dick. Yep. It's hard to take that deep breath and look out for somebody.
Right.
And in this industry, it's moving so fast and there's so much going on.
And it's for the most part, and it's a constant battle, right? Because for the most part, these agents. It's a solo sport.
It is.
Especially till you get on your feet. Now you get a team or your broker helps, whatever else.
You always have help.
Right.
But it's on you.
It's on you.
Yeah.
So then now, I think a lot of people, they get into this mentality where it's like, I didn't get the help that I needed. They get that self-made complexion. And then, these younger agents, they almost become unapproachable to these newer kids because it's like, well, nobody helped me like that. I'm not going to, how long it took me to earn these secrets and to get these tactics. So I get I see it from all different angles. But I think one of the most beautiful things that I see is when you see a newer agent or an agent on the rise and you catch them out with one of these big dogs. Yep. And they're like, I'm going to help you. They take them under their wing, this little mentorship program. And it's like, that person didn't have to do that because I guarantee you there was nobody to do that for this, this woman or this guy before they got their kick. So and that all goes to like what I said, what you preached and squared up with these agents. Some of them, it definitely went in one ear and out the other.
I don't. They all don't know me.
Good ones.
Yeah, but the ones that know me, I think got it.
And that's like I said, this show, that's what I'm bringing a light to or trying to is. There's so many good people in this industry.
There's more than there is bad.
Yes, yes. But sometimes they don't get that spotlight.
Well, the bad overlooks the good. That's the world we're in.
Yeah. I mean, they're up on the hill.
The bad sells.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, the negative stuff sells. No one wants to hear the good stuff. They want to hear the bad stuff.
Yeah, it's like the news.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
When you hear a positive thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm sure everybody will agree. Be it like what was there? There was probably like 7 or 8 agents that followed you into the door. They were trying to get in here with you. They don't want you to leave their side or whatever.
I don't know.
It's like paparazzi, agent paparazzi with Ben Snowden.
And the thing is that's cool, man, but that's not me. Like that's just not my personality. Yeah, I enjoy hanging out. Trust me, I love hanging out with everyone and having a good time. I hate attention. So doing this, I'm like, man, I know we're gonna share it and we're gonna, I want to help you out. I just like I almost might turn Facebook off after this goes out.
So since we're gonna talk about your social media presence, because you really your personal Facebook page is absolutely a personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't know who you were, if we weren't friends, I wouldn't think that you are what you're doing. You know what I mean? Which I like. I think that's pretty cool. But I did find a YouTube video with you on it.
That's terrifying.
And I want to talk about it because I am very interested in this subject.
Okay.
And
I have no idea where you're going with this.
I know. That's why I like building the tension.
You're like, you didn't know this YouTube video exists, but it's out there.
No, you absolutely know it exists.
Okay.
So you were on a show, I should say, a Facebook or social media show with Mark Gulla.
Yeah. Oh, the barbecue
the
thing.
barbecue challenge.
Okay.
Right? So I watched that. I think Joey Booker had shared it, and I saw it.
Yes.
And it actually hurt my feelings a little bit. I don't know Mark personally.
Okay.
But I saw.
Well, you need to get him on here then.
I see. Yeah, we'll definitely get him on here. I saw it in your eyes. And as somebody like I personally, I love cooking. Yeah. I love playing with the smoker and experimenting with meats. And we've had conversations off camera about that. When I saw the look, like, because you didn't know, was it staged, or did you absolutely not know that he cheated?
Let the audience know what happened first, so that they know.
Let's clear the air. Let's clear the air right now.
Okay, so he does a really cool thing in Beaver. So I live in Beaver County. He's from Beaver County. One of my really good buddies has a ton of real estate investments, and they're real tight because he does probably 5 or 6 a year. Nice. And Mark does Around Town. He does 2 different shows. Okay. And Connor with Berg Brothers and Property Vids, they follow him around Beaver County. He does he highlights local restaurants and local businesses, and he also does like competitions with people. Like he went and did a competition with a golf pro. I have to look back. He's done a lot of different he's competing with something. Yeah, that's and he hit me up. He's like, and it was not granted. Like the last few years have been weird, and he was just like, hey, you want to do a cook off? And I'm like, world we're living in, what the hell, what's on it? So I was like, he dresses like you can just like read somebody. 100%. You never want to stereotype someone, but I'm like, bro, you wear tight ass clothes, you drink Truly lemonade, like you don't look like a barbecue guy. And he goes, my buddy has a green egg, and I'm gonna do a brisket, and you can do something, and we'll have. And I was like, here are the rules. And I honestly was like, there's no freaking way he's gonna have someone help him. Yeah. But he's like, but he lied his ass off. Right. And like they come over, and I do all this shit, and I was like, do you even know how to slice this brisket? Because he shows up with it all wrapped up. Yeah. He's letting it rest. Yes. And because you know how the grain goes a certain way in the meat, and you have to slice against the grain. 100%. So I'm like, do you even know what you're doing? He goes, no clue. And I'm like, but it looked good and it smelled good. And I'm like, and I was slicing it, and I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, you did this? And he goes, is it good? I was like, what'd you put on this? He's like, salt and pepper, and because brisket's a pretty simple. SPG. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, this little son of a bitch might beat me. Right. But I was like, well, granted, I mean, the judges aren't exactly like barbecue. I mean, he just some random, and Joey was just like having I tell you what, Booker like just made all that shit up on the fly. He's so good. He had no script at all.
He's so good at that.
And so yeah, he paid the barbecue joint down the road, or they as long as they mentioned it. Yeah. They had them do it. And I knew it. Deep down, I was calling him out. Like, I have text messages like saying, I know you're not doing this. And he's like, no, he lied. He lied beautifully. Because like when you saw my face, I was like, you gotta be shitting me.
It was defeat.
Yeah.
It was the absolute look of defeat. Like, you're like, listen, man, I know people, I can't remember your exact words, but you're like, brisket's one of the hardest things, which it absolutely is. Mm-hmm. I've fucked up plenty of briskets. You
got to be on top of it,
right?
For hours.
You're like, this is really, really, like you mentioned the pull test and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I was watching it, and I'm like, tell him the truth. I was like, they better fucking tell him the truth before the end of this. Yeah, because it'll fuck with you. Like, I take it like it hurts your feelings.
I mean, if you beat me, me and you went head to head, right? My dad and I, we jab each other all the time. Like, he's on his Traeger, I'm on my. I don't cook with electric. I have all lump charcoal. Okay, and we go at it all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, it's pretty good. But I would have done this. All the time, even though it's good. My father. But if I lose to someone that knows what they're doing. But I'm like, this little Center Township kid, who's like, all he does is golf and lift weights and drinks Trulies. Now, I love Mark, so if he ever does watch this, like, he'll laugh. He's cool.
We're gonna tag him in here.
Yes.
He'll definitely see.
So
we might even put that video. We'll put in the link.
They got me good, but fortunately, my ribs and my mac and cheese.
Dude, the mac and cheese looks fire.
We'll do that. Yeah. We'll do that. So like, you invited me to your 4th of July. I did. I'm gonna try to do it this year. It's just. With the drive and
it's a lot.
Yeah, with the dog. The thing is, my dogs are my kids, so like taking them all over them. You cool with that?
Yeah, Jason brought his dog Vita. She was in the pool.
All right, if you don't mind the 180 pounds of chocolate.
There'll be like fireworks and stuff going on here and there. Not like next to them, but
they'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as she's cool.
All right, well then I'll bring a couple trays of that. Yeah, I got that off. It's funny because like people go, "What's your speed? What's your secret recipe?" I was like, dude, it's freaking on the internet. Yeah, you just got to play with it. It's like that's barbecue. You got to play with things,
and that's cooking in general. There's so many things like. So my grandfather or my uncle owns a Puerto Rican restaurant in Buffalo, New York, the cafe. And shout out to Niagara Cafe. I talked about it last episode too. So like I would get recipes from, friends, family. I'd go on YouTube, find this, whatever else. And then you make it your own. You tweak it. This works for you. This doesn't work for you, whatever else. So like ribs, that's our competitions, just so you know. We're not going to do anything else now. Last year we did ribs. Not everybody jumped in. So this year I was just talking to Jason, we'll probably have like 9 or 10 dudes that are bringing. So it's a three rack ribs. You bring 3 ribs, short ribs, or short ribs.
Is it baby backs or St. Louis style?
Baby backs.
Okay, I prefer baby backs.
And you do it however you want. 3 ribs. You don't get to pick which one, so you got to make them. The judges will pick one out of your 3 ribs. Then the rest goes to like the party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone eats.
Yep.
My brother-in-law won last year. Shout out to Dave. It hurts me, dude.
Well, the thing is, like,
he did good though. They were like I was very upset. I'm like, I don't know, because I killed it. Like I thought everything turned out exactly how I wanted to turn out. So I do like the float boats. Like I'm doing, what is it, 3-3-2 or 3-3?
It's a 3-2-1.
Yeah, 3-2-1.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it was perfect. The timing was perfect. I was up at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. Like everything was exactly.
Mm-hmm. And what do you smoke on?
So I smoke on. I have a Pit Boss.
Okay. Yep.
Pellet.
Yep.
My brother had a green egg. Very intricate. I'm a little bit intimidated, honestly.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm gonna have to fuck a lot of shit up before I would bring it up.
It's a prerequisite.
But I think I've been working. Okay. I've been tweaking things. My kids are, I
bet you everything was really good. And like the people that don't know any better were like, oh my God, these ribs are, they couldn't tell. The thing that drives me nuts are the ones that don't know the difference between this one and this one.
Right.
And you're like, there's a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely.
And they go, man, it tastes good to me. Like, but guys like me and you, who have like, well, I have the rub for this, I have the rub for that, I have the sauce for this, the glaze for that. And they get real into it. Yeah. And you're like, it's an art.
Oh, 100%.
But it's a messy art.
But then like, you got to take in consideration your judging panel too. Like, if they're just like, so there was 3 categories. It was like presentation, it was like overall presentation, flavor, and I can't even remember. Maybe it was like tenderness or fall off the bone, whatever it was. And then like you got people that are like, well, technically if it falls off the bone, it's overcooked. And
all right. So let me ask you this. So you watch the shows.
Yeah. All
right. You watch like barbecue pitmasters and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So and my intermixing is like the one that like the shows. There's backyard barbecue and there's competition barbecue.
Yes.
So what would you do if you knew, so you mentioned you knew your judges.
Yes.
Who gives a shit about competition barbecue?
Right.
The bite through,
yes.
Like the bite and it didn't come off the bone. You know what the backyard people, they want it falling off the bone.
Right.
They want that. Now the people that know their shit would be like, well, it didn't,
right.
The bite.
Yeah, exactly. No, I want to see the smoke ring.
Yes,
I want that.
But a bunch of guys that just like, well, this is good meat.
Yeah,
you got to
play to your. You got to play to the
over tenderize it. Yeah,
right. And like I said, all of them were good. I've worked on some stuff though. Okay. I've worked on some stuff. So if you come, you better come correct. And it's just ribs. So your macaroni bullshit is not going to save you in this scenario.
Okay, that's fine.
So, but.
The sides is that's another game. That's for the ladies. The ladies like the mac.
Dude, I love mac and cheese, bro.
I've had my wife question like, is that your husband that made this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I can swoop girls with freaking mac and cheese. I was like, I just sprinkle some bacon on top, and they're like, now they like it's.
So is that bacon? Are you smoking that bacon, or is that like bacon bits?
I'm a big slab bacon guy. Like I've been buying because it's $8 a pound right now. I was
so expensive.
Buying a lot of it up north in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I chop it up and I skillet fry it, and then I sprinkle it on top. The thing is, like, you don't want to lose the part, like, overthink things, like you put too much of something in it and it takes away.
Yes.
I don't want that to happen. Honestly, it's more of like I put badass slab bacon on it. You taste it a little bit, but the mac, everything has to come out in that.
Yeah.
And there's recipes where you actually take your leftover ribs and put the pork meat in that and mix it together, and then drizzle the sauce on top. But you're talking about being like overweight. Like summertime's bad, man.
Yeah, it's horrible.
You're like, all right, long day, beer, barbecue. It's all brown sugar. Yes. It's like none of it's good. You're like, brown you better sugar, be in the gym.
Dr. Pepper, like, it's all bad.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
It's good, but it's also just the feel of the year, and you don't wake up the next day and regret anything.
No,
you're like, no, that was
it's
that
so
was
much
awesome.
like, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the same with me for like fishing. Like when I know I'm about to throw some shit on the grill, I got people coming over. We're opening the pole. You know, the kids are out getting the leaves out and shit, and I'm prepping. Whatever, like. I'll get up early as shit for that. Like I'm excited.
You don't want to get up for anything
before.
else, but like for that, you're like, oh shit, 4 a.m. and I get the season and put a brisket on the smoker. Hell yeah!
And to watch,
isn't it crazy?
I think my favorite part is to watch people's reaction when I have friends come over. You know, it's like, hey, you guys want to come swimming? I'm gonna throw some ribs on or whatever else. And you watch them, they take that bite and they're like, oh my god, it's soulful.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah, I love it.
Like I love when they go, bro, what did you do?
Yeah,
how'd you do that? It's
so
incredible,
good.
Especially guys that eat.
Yeah,
that know good food.
Sure. Yeah, my big.
You're like, no big deal. I do that every day.
Yeah,
little they know you put like 12 hours.
Dude,
into
I put my whole life into that fucking rib.
I need a day off just because I like put so much energy and like into that.
No, 100%, 100%. I love it. I love cooking. So long fam at Remax City Life.
I saw y'all talking shit on Facebook last year. That's what got me like, I was like, I need to go to this. I was like, look at these guys.
So he didn't come last year either.
I know
he
you
had
gave
some
him
scheduling conflicts and. This year, so we just had him on the show with Tara Sill. Mm-hmm. He said he's coming. He's coming, and he's coming with ribs.
Do you know what the date is on that?
Not yet. I have to look at the calendar.
Hey, I'm old. You need to tell me 3 months in advance.
I'll tell you ahead of time.
Yeah.
We'll get it squared up and get it planned out.
Because I think the 4th's on a Friday or Saturday.
I don't even know. Actually, I have a calendar right on my damn computer. Let's see.
It's on a Monday.
It's on a Monday.
So what's cool about that is like you could do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah.
There's you could do 4 days.
What day would work best for Ben Snowden?
Don't ever work anything around me.
Yeah, because you probably won't show up anyways. I get it.
I actually, when I commit to something, I always show up.
I believe you.
But I didn't commit, so that's why I didn't come. Saturday is what everyone would want, but my buddy always throws down on that day, and I'm the main barbecue guy that day. So if you did it on Sunday the 3rd,
we could do it on Sunday.
And I would,
because it's not like the kids have school.
Monday
is the 4th, so the banks will be closed.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do the 3rd.
If you do the 3rd, then all I gotta do is tell my dude, I'm like, dude, on Saturday.
I'm dropping a pin right now. 4th of July.
But I please do not. Do that around me.
I won't get my hopes. I won't get my hopes up.
Plus, I like my shitty. I mean, ribs are $6 a pound.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, dude, I had to refinance my mortgage to get these ribs.
I got the ribs, but I don't got the gas to get down there. Yeah. Somebody come pick me up.
Well, no, I'm an hour away, so I might have to really take out a loan for that one.
So let me ask you this, because Long's out like South Hills area. Mm-hmm. What would make the most sense for you if you legitimately could come here? Would you? Because that's a big thing. Like I have home field advantage.
Yeah.
So I can take these motherfuckers right off, let them rest,
yeah.
and it's game time. For you, like to make it an even competition, what would make the most sense for you? Because I don't know. Transport is different. There's so many things that I make that it's like, bro, if my people don't get this within like a half an hour, it's going to taste like shit.
That's the thing. Like sides are easy.
Yeah.
Because that can always be heated.
You can just throw it in a crock pot or throw it in the oven real quick.
With ribs, it's tough because then you say to yourself, all right, there's an hour wrap or 2 hour wrap session, right? Can you keep it hot at 250 to 275 wrapped? For me, it'd be an hour trip to your place. And I'm like, all right, well, that's an hour. Because my buddy in Cleveland, Mike, the one that started Roper, he's like, well, we'll do ribs. And I'm like, I can't do it on your house because you have a gas grill.
Right.
I need,
absolutely not.
I was like, it's going to taste like shit. So how can I do them? And I know with him, I could smoke them the day before. I could wrap. I've done this before, and it worked. It works at parties. For people that don't know anything, that's when you get the over tenderized, fall off the bone meat.
Yeah.
But you're reheating.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
No.
So I don't know. It would be tough because it'd be like, all right, well, man, if I'm going to make the trip, then I might do that how much room do you have on your pit?
Oh, we got room.
So I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm going to do my rub, and I'm going to do my ribs away, and I'll put mine over it. We'll put a little aluminum foil thing. These are my 3.
Don't touch
There's yours. Don't you touch it. It's like that. Don't touch my drum set. You know, like don't you touch my side. Like if you're spritzing, don't you touch. I don't want that apple juice on my ribs.
Do you use that?
I have, but not really.
So apple cider vinegar is what we use. I've used apple cider vinegar and a little bit of apple juice.
Yep, mix it. Yep.
I don't really get that big of a difference that I notice. The only thing it does is literally stop me from breathing. Like if you fucking open your smoker and you spray it and you catch that like mist, it's like napalm.
It's rough.
Dude. It's like CS.
It clears
gas.
you out. It clears you out. Yeah.
But I always wonder, like, I've really been putting things through the paces as far as do it this way, then do it this way, and then literally be honest with yourself if you notice a difference. I don't. And maybe it's my lack of.
It depends. Honestly, sometimes it depends on the type of the wood you're using.
Yeah.
If you're using like lump charcoal when you're.
So you're like, all charcoal? You said that earlier.
Yeah.
No wood, no.
Well, I put like hickory and hickory and apple in my two go-to woods. Yeah. But like I'll screw around with like cherry, pecan, and if I can get my hands on peach. Ooh. But peach is light. It's a light smoke, but it's like something like a pork butt where you're going to smoke for hours. But
I love pork.
But you could still, you know what I love about it? I love the process of starting it, and then the pulling it, and then when it's done, I'm done. I'm like, this sucks.
You don't like it though?
Well, I do. But how many pork butts have you smoked over the past like 6 years?
So I'm Puerto Rican, so a lot.
Okay, so
so we call it pernil, which I got to give
pernil.
You pernil, like PERNIL.
Is it different rub? Like, give me the Puerto Rican.
It's completely different.
Okay.
It's so like you ever have a good Cuban sandwich?
Yes.
So they like brine it. They do all kinds of shit. We don't do it as much, and I'll get into details. I'm not telling the rest of the world how I do it, but it is so. Oh, it's so good. Like a good pork butt. So like you got to get pork butt with the skin on the top.
Okay. Oh, so more of a like a not a butt.
More of a roast almost.
Yeah.
Throw the hinge on it so it opens up. Throw your, like we have called sofrito, which I'll turn you onto that, which is like, it's not spicy. It's more like garlic, all different, peppers, onions, spices, whatever. Fill it all up with that. Throw the fucking lid back on. And then, and then at the end.
I love that because it's different.
You pat the skin dry and then you torch it. So then you have this crispy, like pork rind chicharrone on top.
Did you hear how he said that?
Yeah.
Say it again.
I get chicharrone.
That's awesome.
Bro, it's so good. So good. That'll change your life. That's like a different thing, but I'll definitely hook you up with some.
I'm sick of just doing the same shit.
Right.
Because everyone loves like the basic barbecue pork, but shredded or pulled pork. Give me something different. Yeah. So chicharrone?
Chicharrone is on top.
Yeah, I want that.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you coming on, first off.
I'm glad you had me. This is awesome.
I hope you liked it. I know you were a little bit, you're like, why me? And I'm like, why not you, Ben? Like, you're the man. And I know that you don't like the spotlight, so I'm going to literally use this to my advantage and put you back in the spotlight. But there's a lot of people that respect the shit out of you. And I'm one of them, but I think it's not because of real producers. It's not because of the clout that you bring or the platform that you have. It's literally that you're just a regular fucking dude, man. And I love that. When we can sit there and bullshit about guns for hours, we can talk about whiskeys and, like some of the time, like when we, in between cuts, that conversation is just as appealing to me as when we're recording.
Okay.
So you're a real dude. I appreciate that.
Well, everyone's been humbled, or some folks haven't yet.
Yeah, maybe. A lot of haven't.
So, some haven't. You can tell.
Some people need, as we call it where I'm from, some people need punched in the mouth. I don't know what they say in Beaver County, but that's what we say out here.
Checked. They need checked. He's like, you remember the Chappelle show? He's like, Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul, talked about checking, the Rick James episode.
Yeah.
He goes, I checked him, and then we were tight.
Yeah.
Some people need checked. But everyone's like, I've done some dumb shit over my lifetime, and so like you appreciate things, and then you always look back on like the stuff that you like, man, I really fucked up on that one, and you never take you take the highs but you're like, there's a humbling thing to it. So I appreciate what you just said, but at the same time, I'm always like, man, you never know. People are always like, things could be great for you, and it looks like great on the surface, and you see some people that are doing, like, think they're doing great, but they're like miserable, and then you see some people that like you just want to like sit down with them and talk to them, like be real, like take everything away. This is just us talking. Like, who are you? I always wanted to be someone that no one ever like had to second guess and be like,
Genuine.
Never want to be fake.
Yeah.
Because like years ago, I felt fake.
Yeah.
I felt like I was someone I wasn't.
Yeah.
And you hit a point in your life and you go, man, I'm just gonna be me.
Just be you.
Because sometimes like, people go, well, they won't like me.
Yeah.
If I'm not this way.
Dude,
and then and then you get to a point and you go, I don't even give a shit because like the people that I want to like me, fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like I don't even care I want to, if they love me for who I am, and they love you for who you are, then that's all that matters.
Yes.
Who cares? Like, why do you need them to care about what they think of you?
You're preaching, man. That's a.
But that's being. You said being real and being
real.
Who you are. You usually you have to go through something.
Yes.
Or some things or several
100%.
obstacles that you go. It's probably best just.
It's a purification process.
It's
a part of life where, I didn't. I'm a little bit different. I haven't been in this industry very long. Mm-hmm. I came from, a very humble background and, I was construction. I worked for the gas lines. I was a pipeliner. And so I see things a little bit differently, but I'm not naive to the fact that you can absolutely get swept away in this industry with being your alter ego.
Well, and I gave Vinny some shit. Well, Vinny gave me some shit, and I gave him some shit. After the event, he goes, "Where's your suit? You took your suit off. Your suit looked dope." And I'm like, "Thanks, but I'm not comfortable in that walking around, hanging out. I want just wear
me."
And I'm like, to me, I'm like, what is it? I never wanted to feel like I was in a costume.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You got to look good when you go to work. When you go to good events.
Yeah,
but I was like, that event was over.
Yes. Yeah.
And anything that happens after 9:30 to, God knows, when do you guys get out of there? 3 a.m.?
That's not important.
Okay, it's not important. But, just the alter ego. I'm like not saying, because one thing I try to do is I try to be me 24/7.
Yes. Yeah.
But
it shows.
But keeping it classy.
Right.
No,
right.
I just won't drop as many F's and B's and D's and all the words that I like to use during the work environment time. But I think everybody, and it helps. There's agents out there that you just know who they are. Yeah. And the thing is, like some people go, I don't like them. I was like, I get it, but I respect them because you know what? That's who they are.
Right.
They're not trying to be. I was like, they're crazy.
Yeah.
And they know they're crazy. And guess what? They embrace the crazy.
And I love it.
And I actually enjoy that.
Yes.
Like if an agent's like freaking bananas, which there's a lot of them out there. I'm like, you know what? But I always stick up for them. I go, but that's who they are.
Yeah, they'll be that way.
You might not like them
on a Sunday at 2:00 in the afternoon. They're the same person that they were at that event.
That's who they are.
I'll eat that up all day.
And I'm like, they're genuine.
Yeah.
You might not. Yeah. I might not agree with it, but hell, that's who they are.
Yeah. But there's a lot that aren't.
And those are the ones that you know.
Keep it moving. Like I said, that's my biggest quote, and I use it all the time. Is there's no bunk beds and caskets. So
none.
You
Zero.
You do whatever you do, and
that's another quote you can send me that I need to write down.
What was the other one? Oh, the poison.
Yes, that was before we got on air.
Yeah,
so send me that one too.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. You can use them.
Please.
I want to see them in the magazine somewhere. I want to see.
I don't know how we'll implement it, but I'll talk to Kendra, who's our operations manager. I'm going to give a shout out to her. She does a great job.
Yeah.
The magazine looks great because of her.
Okay.
So Kendra Woodward.
Is that who does when we come in at the event?
Yes.
She's the one checking us in and stuff?
Tall. She usually has her hair dyed blue. She's cool as shit.
Super cool.
But down to earth.
Shout out to Kendra.
Yeah. Thank you for making the magazine look great. Appreciate it. She doesn't get enough credit, but she's also very humble too, where she's like, please don't say my name. And I'm like, I got to give you some.
Too late. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to give you credit because it looks, she works for a lot of other real producer magazines and they look good because she does a good job.
Yeah. Who else? Is there anybody else you want to? I know you got a couple of photographers that run around.
Oh my God. I'm very fortunate that the team that we have does, like our writer and our photographers, Ray. Everyone knows Ray Cordero with Mainline. I saw him last night, and me and him have been working together for 10 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because not just Real Producers has only been around 5 years, but he's been with me for 10 years, and then Phil Hensler does a really good job. He's out here in like the Fox Chapel, Oakmont area.
Okay.
He doesn't get enough credit. Peter Tice is a Coldwell banker agent who you don't see. Because everyone thinks he's still a realtor, but he does a lot of real estate photography, but he does a really good job for us.
Okay.
So like when you look at his work, everyone's like, I didn't know he does that. And I was like, well, he doesn't. He only does it for us. Oh. So we have like a really good group, and there's other ones that we'll be bringing on that photographers are a different breed.
Oh, for sure.
They just see, like, you're like, how the hell did you see that?
Yeah. That's how
it's like this little thing like over in the corner. You're like, I wasn't looking at that.
Yeah.
They have to see everything,
Yeah.
especially with the realtors they're working with. If they're doing real estate photography, I was like, they see that smudge.
Yes.
Or the cocaine on the table. They're like, oh, you got to clean that up. You can't put that on the. Yeah.
Snort it or get rid of it. Like, what are we doing? No, Ange is the same way. So shout out to Angelo at 6 Eye Productions. He's the guy behind the camera for all of this. And, he makes it pretty much hands-free for me. But when he comes in, he sets up early. He's here before I am. And, he's moving. Like, I have all these little figurines. And I'll move one. I'm like, oh, I want it here. And then I come back and he's moving shit around.
He's like, yeah, I appreciate what you're doing, bro, but that sucked.
Do you want this to be good or not?
Do you want this to look dope or do you want to look like shit? Like, Groot needs to be over here.
Exactly.
Black Panther needs to be over there. And I don't know who the hell those guys are over there. Who are those guys?
So listen, I'm going to be... I didn't bring them out yet, so people can see them. I'm a little bit of a musical fanatic.
Okay.
So this is the cast of the musical Hamilton.
Oh, all right.
Which I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
But you're into that kind of, like, so very, like, think of The Patriot.
Okay.
With Mel Gibson.
Yep.
But in a musical. These dudes.
You have to send me that.
So this is George Washington. That's Aaron Burr. That's Alexander Hamilton, played by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Fucking genius. Angelica Schuyler and her sister, which is losing me right now. I can't remember her name. Angelica Eliza.
Okay.
Eliza is Alexander Hamilton's wife. Angelica Schuyler, and then there's another one. Angelica... And I've been Peggy.
It's been dropping.
Peggy
I'm looking at them guys. I'm like, who the hell superheroes are these? They're not superheroes.
They're not superheroes at all. No, that's a musical.
Okay, glad that we cleared that up. Okay, because like I'm looking at like Nick Cannon. No, not Nick Cannon. Michael B. Jordan up there, and
Groot.
I'm like,
this is MJ from Spider-Man.
Okay.
Rescue, which is Pepper Potts.
I'm like, I don't know these guys.
No, you won't.
I was like, that looks like a black Captain Crunch, and like I don't know who the hell that is.
No, that's my musical, my geek coming out over there.
Okay.
So I gotta have him in there because I said,
that's cool as hell, man. That's awesome.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is he's Puerto Rican, but he's also so he did like Hamilton. So like, have you ever seen Moana, like the Disney movie Moana, or Encanto?
My wife just watched that with her niece around the holidays.
Encanto?
Yes.
So he wrote that as well. He did all the music for that as well. He's an absolute genius. I hope one day maybe he'll watch this, but he is an absolute
Share it
genius. Enough. So yeah, that's the musical side of it. The rest is actually Marvel, but I had to throw my people.
No, that's cool. That's awesome.
So they don't.
Mine would be different, but that's fine.
What would yours be, since we're on that side?
Oh shit, I don't know.
What's your what? So I know you're into guns.
Yeah.
You're super into guns, firearms. I think I made, so we talked at Lending Heights had its Inc. 5000 event, and I said, like, I like playing with guns, blah, 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 and you're like, I don't play with guns. And I was intoxicated. So
yeah, all right, well, I didn't take that into consideration.
I was like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. He'll never come shooting with me ever. But we're not fucking redneck
I figured you out, man. I got you, yeah.
So, but
my job is to figure people out. I figured you out.
I'm glad you did. Yeah. But no, I know you're into guns. You said Beaver County. You born and raised out that way?
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How did you? So before we get into that, how did you get in with the the Lady Rams?
Yeah, Rochester. So it's funny because like we're going into my 6th season, and I'm like, oh man, do I really want to keep doing this? But so.
The girls are going to watch this, just so you know.
I know. Well, my coaching staff's going to grill me for this.
Good.
I did. That's the thing about being humble. You surround yourself with people that bust your balls, no matter how. You could be on top of the world, and they're bringing you back down.
That's the best part.
It goes back to 2000, 2001.
Okay.
I'm at Penn State the Beaver campus, and it was the beginning of the spring semester. And a dude that I knew I played against in high school, he was at Rochester. I was in New Brighton, small high schools. He goes, dude, we need hoopers for the basketball program. I'm like, I didn't get recruited. I'm not playing. He goes, I remember you. We could play together. And he was cool as shit. And I didn't like, like you don't like people in high school and you grow up and they become your best friends.
Absolutely.
So long story short, I went to the gym, started playing with some of these guys, and me and him became good buddies. We played 2 years at Penn State Beaver, our freshman, sophomore year.
Nice.
Then we went to Barron up in Erie, became good friends. Well, he has 2 young daughters, and he was always he started the Little Rams, little kids basketball program at Rochester.
Okay.
Years ago, 10 years, his dad and his brother. And he was on the assistant staff for the varsity team. And the team was always talented, but it was rough, rough group of kids.
Okay.
And just they were always there, but there was always like the personalities just got in the way, and
For sure.
it just didn't work out. But he eventually got the head coaching job, and he hit me up. He's like, bro, I'm going to be the head coach of the girls program. I'm like, dude, that's sweet. Congrats. That's awesome. He goes, I need people. I was like, who are you thinking? I was like, don't you dare think. I was like, I'm going to help you in any capacity to be a girls varsity basketball coach. He goes, they got talent. They can do a lot of things. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit. I was like, I've never I was like, I play. I love playing. I was like, I love the game.
How tall are you, by the way?
6'4" on a good day.
There you go.
I'm a lot heavier than I was when I was younger.
Right.
I'm 60 pounds heavier than what I was.
Still got good knees though, right?
Yeah, some days.
Okay.
The more you work out, the better they feel.
Oh, for sure.
But he said, come to a fall league. He got it like right before the season, so it was like sink or swim time.
Right.
And I went and watched. Like, we had a freshman that was just incredible. We had some sophomores that were really good, but they were rough around the edges. We just had attitudes left and right.
Yeah.
And I go, dude, this isn't. I'm not gonna lie. For 1A, small school, we're playing 3, 4A kids in these fall leagues. I was like, these are good ball players. Like, they're freaking crazy. These kids are a mess. So I was like, fuck it.
Do it.
Let's do it. It's always like that. Sounds crazy.
Right.
I like crazy.
It just might work.
Yeah. And then he goes, the first year was rough. We did make the playoffs. We finished 4th in our section, which we barely made it in. But then, our second season, third season, fourth season, won the section every year, won the Whitfield Championship.
Look at you.
Made state. We got farther and farther into states. We got cut off in 2020. Like, dude, we were gonna be state champs.
No shit.
And COVID, they said no.
COVID
we're not
shut,
gonna. All we needed is 2 more games. The other teams were terrified of us. We beat 4A, 5A schools.
Yeah.
And the kids just are basketball players, and they listen. In the CJ changed the culture of like no more me. It's about us.
Right.
And you got on board with that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. I mean, you think about all the different things you do when you're a business owner. Like, time is. And you can't buy it.
No,
you can't take it with you. It's like so.
Tony Stark said that. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, he did.
No
he
amount
mentioned
of money ever bought a stitch of time.
none. And but that's no matter how rich Elon Musk couldn't buy it. Yep. I mean, he may be able to make a time machine. Shit, he's a genius. But who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, so that was my Rochester Lady Rams cap.
No,
so we fell short this past year. We got one of our girls going D1, going to Kent State. Another one's going to go play their sister at La Roche.
Oh, wow.
So we have both the Robinson girls playing at La Roche, Corinne's playing at Kent State. So I'm excited to watch them grow because they've been around for 5 years.
Yeah.
Even when they were like assistant, like they were like not the water girls, but like the managers on the team.
Yeah.
But that I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very rewarding thing. And when a kid does, you try to show them. It's tough because you have kids.
Yeah.
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
So me working with high school girls is like.
I mean, technically, you have kids at this point. Right?
They're my kids.
Yeah. For sure.
And there's a lot of like, man, this sucks. They don't listen to shit. But then there's that like, do this, and then they do it and they score in a game or something happens that's not supposed to happen, and you're like, oh yeah, like I helped them with that. Now you're not gonna get the credit for it. Who gives a shit? I don't care. But that was like, I went home a lot of nights like, man, that was rewarding as hell. Like you can never buy that feeling.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough because it's a grind.
Yeah.
Especially if you're committed. That's legit when he does that.
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
It's like I feel like I'm in Hollywood right now.
So they won't hear it. So let's let the viewers know. So Angelo, 6 Eye Productions, my fucking mastermind behind all this, this podcast. He's the one that we can have the best conversation in the world. If it doesn't produce and come out, we're fucked. So anybody that needs anything,
we just hung out for 2 hours.
Yeah. Which is good.
No, I don't care. It's
not
great.
Helping the
purpose
efforts,
of whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Anybody that needs anything as far as advertisement, podcasts. If you guys want to try and figure out a podcast that's better than this, which will never happen, but if it did, reach out to Angelo. We'll put his information right now so you guys can reach out to him, as far as listings, as far as, wanting to get some pictures of your houses, whatever it is. The motherfucker can do it all. But so what Ben was talking about is we snap in, we do like the whole like movie, take 2, click, and it's The first couple times that he did it, it fucked me up, dude. Like he would do it, and I'd be like I had I think I had Dalton on, and I was like, Dylan Kobler at McCandless. Like I completely fucked it
Run
up.
DMC CNG LMNOP. He's really good at closing. Yeah,
it threw me off so bad. But no, it is really cool to get the clapper in there. No, it makes us feel. It's like we're doing something real.
I mean, well, it is real, man.
Yeah, I know.
It is real. Keeping it real. I mean, the thing is, we're new. You're new. We're new. I always say we because I'm always.
And that's new. A big thing. So Lori Kiss, I had Lori Kiss on the show.
Yeah, she's cool as shit.
And I called her out on that. So coming where I came from, doing the jobs that I used to do, we would have foremen that. They would report to the superiors, to our guys, in the office, whatever. This is what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm doing this, and I'm this, and we call them pirates. Like everything is I.
Yeah.
So like I noticed right off the bat because I came up in a different industry where it's like the motherfuckers that say we or the motherfuckers that say I. There's a direct. I mean, you can tell so much by the words that people use. Mm-hmm. So when you say we. It goes a lot further for me because you're including even if it's subconscious, you're including other people into you. Like when we talk about real producers, it was we. We have this, and I'm doing this, but we have this. Like that difference, it goes so far to the right people. But I digress. The Lady Rams, right? So when did you? So you've been a coach. You're assistant coach.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, CJ. I mean, he's the head dog. We're like best of buddies.
Yeah.
He whenever I met him, like I have a ton of great friends now because of him.
Yeah.
Like brothers, Right.
That's
like
awesome.
my brothers, my real brothers are like jealous of like my crew.
Your people.
Yeah. They're all I need Kanzana, Memo, they're all these Italians dudes. So I bust their balls all the time. I was like, your meatballs suck. Yeah. It's like no, he said, I was like, dude, I don't know. Like I'm good at positional stuff.
So this is coming from. Let them know. Like this is coming from. So you had a career in college basketball,
I played a couple years of JUCO ball.
Okay.
And it wasn't spectacular at any.
But you played with CJ.
Yeah, like we played. But the thing is that me and him, like that's how we became friends. We played JUCO ball at Penn State Beaver. We played. Now, granted, we played a Division I talent.
Yeah.
Because they were all great. Everyone we played against was insane. I'm like, what the hell are we doing, dude?
Right.
I was like, the point guard's my height. Right. I was like, I played friggin' 3 guard, 4, and I'm like, now I'm guarding a 7-foot dude.
Yeah.
Because JUCO ball back then was different.
Yeah.
These
Everything
dudes.
was different.
Yeah. But he's the X's and O's. He's like this mastermind where he can see things. Okay. I know I can like look at the player and say this is what they can get better at positionally. So
you guys balance each other out.
But we have a hell of a staff, dude. Yeah. We have, Jessica Hauser, who's like the mom of the group. Like her daughter was she was helping us before her daughter became on the program. She's a Division I talent. She's insane. So she nurtures, but also knows like that is not going to work.
Right.
Everyone on the team, like that's why it's a we thing. Your players. That kid can't do this.
Right.
But this kid can, take her out, put her in.
Now, do you feel so? I'm going to dive into this a little bit. So I grew up in Jeanette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette is a single A school now.
Yep.
When I played, we were double A.
Yep.
But we always played up.
Yep.
Always played up. And Rochester, we've definitely heard about Rochester.
Jeanette and Rochester have I think a football history.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we torched you guys. It was
for real.
It was a massive.
Well, they're not. I didn't go to high school there. Right. I just go to girls' back. I was like, every time they go, I'm like, I didn't play. I didn't graduate from there, but
no, I think that the platform is the same. So it's a very small school, very tight knit community, and those are where the athletes are bred. Like
Western PA.
You look at like Aliquippa,
same thing.
Clareton, all these little teams where it's like nobody even gives you a shot, and then you got these kids playing in the pros. You got incredible talent, and you build this dynasty. So I guess where I was going with that is with Rochester ball, you obviously don't have a surplus of athletes to choose from, but like what you're saying is huge because a lot of coaches won't run that route as far as she can't do this. Like she's not good for this position, but she could fit here.
Yeah.
Where you're doing what's best for the kid, even though politically it might not be the most beautiful decision.
We're lucky that the politics they haven't in the first 5 years haven't fell into this community because they're all friends, and they like if a parent has a problem, then it's like behind closed doors.
Right.
That was my biggest concern getting involved.
For sure.
And I said to C, I'm like, yo, what kind of shit show are we getting into?
Right.
He goes, I know them all. I've been working with them since they were kids.
Yeah.
I was like, they're still kids. He's like, well, when they were little kids. So we didn't have to worry about that because it was like a, FU, it's behind closed doors, and it's done.
That's why it works.
But like you said, like they're only graduating like 50 some kids a year.
Yeah.
So you have to work with all of them.
Work with what you got.
And some kids are just like, they know their role.
Yeah.
Others, like, and I'm like the head of the JV program. So like we have kids that were doing things that was not their responsibility.
Right.
And I'm like, we're grooming you to be a great 2 or 3 guard, not a 1. You're playing 1 here, but you're great at 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a better 2 and 3 in varsity because you played 1 in JV. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're grooming them for their future.
And
they don't get that. There's a lot of coaches that don't do that.
But I tell that to a 15, 16-year-old girl.
Right. That's
or
fair.
Anybody, But they
or their parents.
I'm not gonna honestly like we're so lucky with the parents.
That's awesome.
Like they'll bitch from the stands and they'll say some shit, but like they've been cool with us.
Right.
Like if they've had problems, it's all behind closed doors and it doesn't get out into the community.
Yeah.
But the community's so tight knit, man. Like
and
it's
that's
such
how Jeanette is. Jeanette's the same
Jeanette.
way.
And you meant
it's a little bit different now since I'm a lot older than I was when I played, but
there's still that aura.
So and I think what it comes down to is like how we grew up, right? So and I know you're a little bit older than I am, not much.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'll be 33 in September.
Oh, so you're like my youngest brother's
age. So I'm like
age.
your brother's age, right? But I still was on the cusp of like my parents. It was okay for my friend's mom to smack the shit out of me,
kick the shit out of you.
If I came out of line,
smack him upside the head.
And it's funny because I grew up with that, right? Like, I'm at my buddy's house, whatever else. If I said something that was sideways, his mom will literally smack the spit out my mouth. And what if I went back and told my mom?
She'd be like, "Good."
Was like, yeah, well,
she wouldn't even second guess it. No, she wouldn't even call her.
She wouldn't even question.
She'd be like, "I guarantee you deserved it."
It's a completely different atmosphere. Where like now, it's so funny because this literally just happened. My son, so my middle son is Landon. He's 12 or 13 years old. So my 2 boys are 18 months apart, 14 and 13. Well, X will be 14 in May. So. We had his friend Landon's friends, so my middle son's friends came to pick him up. His dad came to pick up my son. They were going to the movies, right? We were just talking about this to go see Batman. And his dad came, picked him up. I walked out, and his dad was like, "Hey, I'm taking him to the movies." We already had talked over the phone, and he rolled the window down when he picked Landon up, and I was like, "Hey, if he says some sideways shit, like smack him in the mouth, like just jokingly, but like at the same time,
but you're
like,
real,
yeah, like." Don't let my son. Don't embarrass me. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's funny. It's like some of the parents.
Bro, he did not know how to take it.
Some of the parents that like with these kids, I'm like, do you need to sign a waiver so I can smack the shit out of your daughter upside the face?
Yeah.
And they're like, do you need one? Because I can punch her in the mouth right now. They're like, we trust you.
Right. That's like, the little community. That's different.
And Nadia's like, and I'm like, I'll check your ass.
I'll get you.
And her dad's like, for up. And I'm like, but that's what's cool about like them small town crews, because like everybody's got each other's back, and it's all love. It really is love, 100%. Even though it's tough love.
Right,
tough love is going by the wayside.
But that's what's going to make them better when they get to a D1 level, or they get to these schools that are 17 times bigger than what they grew up with. They need the grit. They need to know, like, listen, what I got at home, you guys can't even fucking touch. You know what I mean?
There was something I saw. Because a lot of the coaches send me stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably like the least committed. Because I'm so much farther away. Right. Because I live farther away than them.
For sure.
But like, they send so much stuff. It's like, if you played JUCO, you played Division III, Division II, Division I. If you played anything outside of high school,
yeah,
that's impressive. You might not have been the best.
Right.
But you played at another level, and
right.
Such a small percentage.
Yeah.
Makes it to anything above high school.
Yes. 100%. But I love that. I love that aspect. And with Rochester, like I don't know much about Rochester because the only time I ever ran into you guys, it was our job to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this.
I love
the
how I'm
small
part of that
community.
you now.
Oh yeah, you're in.
I'm
Yeah.
now that I wear I'm wearing the navy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the colors.
Rams.
Yeah.
Fuck the Rams. But
Some
no,
days
that
I'm like, fuck the Rams. I'm like, what are you girls thinking? What the hell's wrong with you? And dude, we beat Clarendon in the state, or is it the Whitfield playoffs a few years ago before we went to the championship game, and the fans.
Yeah.
This is how how the fans are. Girls, high school.
Yes.
We just beat Clarendon handily. Afterwards, the fans were like, "We'll catch y'all in the football." But these girls ain't playing football.
Right.
I was like, "That's how it is. It just it doesn't matter. It could be like bocce, like it's
Whatever
Rochester
it is.
versus Clarendon. It's Jeanette and
that's a very hard, like, bro. That's burned in our
high school,
brains since we were little
kids.
Like Clarendon. So we didn't play Clarendon. Clarendon was single A ball. We would have shit on. So I graduated with Terrell Pryor. We were 17.
Oh, okay. Yep.
We didn't.
Who's that?
We met no
Tell me
resistance.
about him. Yeah.
So it was different for us, but everybody, like, I still like, and it's so immature, but like, they're still like Greensburg Central Catholic was our big rival, right? They recruiting, they this and that, whatever else. So like to this day, if I see somebody like at Walmart with a GCC jacket,
you want to freaking drop kick him.
Yeah. Like it's
Shank 'em.
burned in our brain.
Yeah.
So like when we play, like you said, like with Clarendon and all these other teams, it's like the Olympics back in the days of like Greece, Athens. Like this is all we had.
Yeah.
You know, in our city growing up, Jeanette, all we had was sports. We didn't have anything. That if you wanted to get out, that was it.
Yep.
It wasn't even like the whole like now it's like, well, I could be a rapper, I could be this. No, it was football. It was football, basketball, baseball.
But that was just America in general.
It was 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like, thankfully, there's other things for kids to do now.
Now there is.
Fortunately,
yeah.
But obviously, when that takes away from
and that was
the old
worried
school
about
shit.
that. So like my kids now, we moved up. We live in Harrison City, which is like Penn Trafford School District.
I know where it's at. My
So
cousin
PT
goes there.
is a quad A school. Like they're huge. Actually, they might be 5A now with how the Whitfield changed it.
They should be 5.
So it's a completely, and I was worried about that when I moved my sons out of Jeanette because football is so
Huge.
It's everything for us. Like it's everything. Like my son. So when we moved, my son was probably 9 years old, and I remember him. You know, we had drove past. So my family still lives in Jeanette, and we had drove past the football field, and he was crying, and I'm like, why are you crying, bro? Like, what's going on? He's like, I'll never be able to be a Jayhawk. Like I always wanted to, because my nephews were Jayhawks.
Okay.
My brother was a Jayhawk. I was a Jayhawk. Like that is burned in and it's in us. Like we bleed red and blue.
Why is it that I thought of the movie The Mighty Ducks when you were
So
saying that?
100%.
I was
It's the
thinking,
Mighty Ducks.
what was the bad guy team that like you had to be a hawk?
Iceland.
No, the first one.
The first one.
You had to be a hawk.
Yeah, the Hawks.
Yeah. I can't be
what
I can't be a
Banks.
duck. Yeah, Banks.
Yeah.
I can't be a duck. I'm a hawk. You know, it's like
Right. That's it though. But like now we moved to PT, and you know he's in the midget. So he just got out. He had his senior year in the midget program for football. He's a dog. He's going to be better than anybody of us. Like my nephews, my brothers. Like he will be the best stickle to get out. Mm-hmm. And but I was worried about that, and we went to Penn Trafford, and
be the new, start a new generation, start a new thing.
Those coaches were exactly what I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
They're smart. They don't play the politics game like I thought they would. They're like, you know, like I'll see them, like parents get weird about it. Like, so in between that, like with my divorce, they went to another school district, which I won't name, but they played rec ball, midget football for this other school district. And like the first parent meeting with the coaches was like, they gave us a chart, bro. I'm not bullshitting you. They gave us a chart. And it was like brown, yellow, kind of lighter yellow. And it was like how to identify dehydration in your son, like after football practice. Like looking at his pee and all this shit.
The son to their parents.
Right. And I was like,
no shit.
Are you fucking kidding me? Bro, like if we weren't bleeding, we're playing.
Yeah.
Like
throwing
up was
now
normal.
you're checking their pee.
Right. So now it's like signs of a concussion, what things to look for. And I'm not downplaying the concussions. I'm not downplaying, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
The whatever concussion movie that was, the CP, whatever it is. I get all that, and I respect all that. But at the same time, it's like
Isn't that convenient? That wasn't that movie with Will Smith?
Yeah.
And then he tried to give Chris Rock a freaking concussion. So I was like,
the spit out of his mouth.
All right, I'm not. That was my one jab.
I haven't. You're the first guest that's been able to make a Chris or a Will Smith comment. So I'm glad you did.
Ah, fuck! What I just opened myself up to.
It was just. It's crazy. Like there's so many, and like Jeanette, growing up, it was like my coaches gripped me up, bro. Like if you did something wrong, you're gonna know about it.
But your parents were like.
They were cool with it.
That's part of the gig. It's a job.
Where it came from.
Yeah.
They knew where it came from.
Yeah.
They would be out and see my coaches out. Like it was such a tight knit community. It was like I know Roy's not going to. I know Coach Ray Ritz. Shout out to Coach Ray. Like I know this is coming from the right. He's making you better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to let you be a little bitch and think that everybody deserves a trophy.
He's making you a man.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what sports are. Like I know you're on the girls team, but it is absolutely a rite of passage because you have there's so many things that girl is going to encounter over her life, over her college career. Even if she doesn't go pro or she doesn't go, she's going to have times in her life where something that you did or said or got on her about is going to help her navigate. You know what I mean? So coaching is so much more than X's and O's or just winning.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there was, trust me, there was times where we were riding the bus home and I go, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
But because we're always focusing on the bad.
Right.
We're not always focusing on the little wins.
Right.
All we
the
lost.
Little victories.
Yeah. But we also focus on she didn't think she could do that.
Yeah.
And 3 games in a row, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. And then the one game, she decided it's time to be courageous or have the confidence to do it.
Take that leap of faith.
And it's the younger ones that do that because the younger ones are scared.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when you have players that now are considered royalty.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
she got a D1 off.
She's the best, and she is, and she's a model citizen. Best grades, does everything right, doesn't yell at anybody. It's you got the perfect freaking kid.
Yeah.
And then you have this little kid that's just so thankful to be on the same team as her.
Right.
And she's trying to help her out, and she finally makes that crossover, and she comes to the left, and she comes back, and then she it's like a ta-ta-ta, and she pulls up, and she shoots, she hits the 3, and you're like, we've been telling you always we're not surprised you did that. We're just thankful that you finally did it.
How rewarding is that?
But the thing is, it's rewarding as hell. But then it's frustrating as shit because they do it. Their confidence here, and then they bring it. I got lucky. No, you didn't get lucky. You worked your ass off to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just kids now, man. Yeah. It's I have to always look back and man, they're gonna remember this shit forever. And I'm excited that I was a part of it.
I know that,
but I get mad. Trust me. I'm older you get, your patience dwindles.
Right.
There's freaking little.
But that I know for a fact that you can look back and now, and if I asked you, the coaches that you had growing up, what do you remember from them? And what things stuck with you even to this day? 30 years later, it's no, I remember this coach and he used to say this. That stuff is it's so valuable.
Yeah.
And you don't even know how valuable you are to them,
No, because you hope that you say some things and do some things to help them with something. Right. Coach Pipkin, he was a superstar at New Brighton. That's where I went. He was my
New Brighton.
Assistant / JV coach. He was Eastern Division I. He should have been with the Nets. He fucked up. He admits he did some things he shouldn't have done. He just got caught up in the hoopla. But him and his brother Gabe Jackson were NBA born bred. They dropped the ball when they shouldn't have. But he showed me so much after hours in the gym that he goes, you want to work on some shit? And I'm like, you're my coach. I'm like, I'm not going to say he's going to beat my ass. He'll be like, I'll F you up, Ben, if you don't freaking get in there.
Right.
But I implement with these kids, and then things kids, when they get in the ball in the post, they always want to swing the wrong way. Mm-hmm. They want to go away from the human instead of going into the human.
Okay.
He showed me things that it's funny because I'm like, did I ever do that in a game? Or did I ever do that when I needed to? But I remembered it, and I implement it with these kids now. And now they're doing it, and they're having success from it. I'm like, okay, it might not have worked in 2000 with me, but I brought it back in 2020 with them, and it fucking works. And now they're badass post players, and they're getting kids to jump out, and they're going up and under and doing shit. And I'm
that's awesome.
And I'm like, oh man, that's good shit.
It's so good.
And I always tell him. Granted, I haven't seen him in 15, 16, 17 years, But man, he was sick.
Yeah.
But he showed me things that like it was like that. It was meant to be.
Right.
He showed you things that you implement with kids 20 years later.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good people, man.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, we could go on about that kind of life, the small town, the small environment, like just we're all we got. That was our big thing. It's like, we're all we got at this point.
No one's going to take care of us outside of this era.
When you're in high school and you make it to a certain level or you're getting this notoriety, like it was a little different. Like, so Terrell was obviously, he was the number one player in the nation.
Yeah.
Right. So we had ESPN, we had sponsorships from Adidas. Like we were kings.
You walked around, you were like, I can't do nothing wrong.
You can't tell me shit.
Yeah.
Like, and some of it was good, some of it was probably it
a little too much.
Us. Right. Yeah. But at that time, you couldn't tell us shit. And there's
You're gonna tell a
much
Terrell
pride.
Pryor team to no.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Like, do you know who the fuck we are? Like, and to this day, like obviously it's a huge moment of pride for me, but to this day, there's so many things that, our coaching staff. So like, shout out to Coach Ray Ritz, that it didn't fucking matter. I don't care if you're the number one player in the nation or the world or whatever. Like, we don't wear fucking armbands. We're not Under Armour models. We're not fashion statements.
What do those armbands do?
Nothing, bro. Nothing. And that was our thing, was like we all looked the same. There were so many things that like we would get mad about, but now looking back as an adult, it's like this man had it figured out. Dude.
Yeah.
He had it figured out, and he kept us in line. And it would be so hard to like realistically like control that kind of
personality
where it's like, I'm literally like, bro, Traeger's at the fucking school. You know what I mean? Like, we had people coming there that was just like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's here and he wants Terrell, and we're going to go take golf carts around Ohio State campus, and we're going to do that. Like, there's so many things that it was just wild. It was a wild time, but nothing ever changed Jeanette. Nothing ever changed us. Like, it was still us against the world. And, I assume, Rochester's the same way, whether it's girls basketball, like you said with Clairton, like there's one way in and one way out of Clairton, bro. Like our rule was when we go in, all the windows on the bus go up because these motherfuckers are throwing double A batteries. Like,
oh, dude, I remember.
It's wild.
I didn't experience this, but like but when Monaca was still a high school.
Oh, yeah.
Monaca and Rochester single A football.
Yeah.
So I met Brock Hanna.
Okay.
You ever hear of him? He's a Keller Williams agent.
Yeah, I know of him.
So
I've never met
just
him
spoke
personally.
to me the other day. He goes, "Where you from? I was like, I went to Shannock. We played Monaca. I was like, oh shit. See, he brought up like some of my best friends. Mm-hmm. He goes, talking to Blanco, Kirby. I was like, oh, dude, they fucking probably rolled on you. He goes, they killed us. We were scared of them. He's like, they were grown-ass men, and we were just little boys. And he goes, they'd run for 280 yards and score 4 touchdowns each. And I text him, I'm like, hey, man, you scarred some dudes for life. I was like, this dude's 40, and he's like, he remembers you.
He'll never forget.
But that was the mentality back then.
Yeah, and that was the story. That was like the war stories. You know, the older kids would tell us shit like, so like my brother played with like Darrell Revis.
Yeah, he was a freshman or 8th grader when I was a senior.
So there's Darrell Revis. There's like the Gatlin brothers, like Justin Gatlin from Mars, all them. Like we ran into these, like they're gods to us. Like as kids, we were looking at them like they were, untouchable. And now, it's just it's so crazy. And I think what of it comes down to is how much absolute raw talent comes out of Western Pennsylvania.
It's crazy.
Is insane.
Oh, Darrell, like he was from Equip, and I went to Penn State Beaver. We would play at the courts all summer.
Yeah.
Behind the police station, he would bring his crew from Equip.
Savage.
And
bro.
Dude, it was insane.
He was a man amongst boys.
He was, everywhere. But the thing is, like his crew were all good too.
Yeah.
But he was young, and like, but what's funny? What I remember about him is like he was always giving the ball up.
Yeah.
It's like we'd be playing. This is like summer court backyard ball.
Yeah.
2 courts running at Center Township Police Station almost. Right. You got these kids from Center, the Mark Gullas of the world, wearing pearl necklaces and like freaking Swiss sneakers, and then you got the boys from Quip. But everyone was cool as shit in the Beaver County area. Yeah. Everyone, they talk a lot of shit, of course. But like we'd play all day, and then everyone would roll back. But like it was just like, man, you respect the hell out of everybody, but like. Terrell was young when I was getting out of high school, but like he fed the ball to everybody. Mm-hmm. But then he had to mess you up. He'd break your ankles here and there. Bro. That was in basketball, not even football.
And that's a big thing too. Is like the
basketball players were just as good as football. They pick and choose.
It was whatever they wanted. Terrell was the same way.
His coach told him play football.
Yeah,
he wanted to play hoops. That's what I was told.
Right, I believe.
I don't know. I mean, dude,
Terrell was the same way. Terrell could have went anywhere basketball.
Yeah,
he could have went anywhere football. Like it was. I mean, you got Aliquippa. Aliquippa is absolutely insane. They're like they're like Aliquippa and Clairton. They have. It's just constant. Mm-hmm. Like they're constantly
success.
Bringing savages into the atmosphere. Like it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
There's always what's going on with them with the football thing and moving them up.
Yeah.
Not because of numbers, but because of people are moving in the area. It's not because they're recruiting. It's because of the money.
Yeah. 100%.
And I was like, you're punishing them because of the financial situation,
right.
and and the program is amazing.
Yeah.
But guess what? They spit in the whip-wheel and whip PIAA's faces and we're like, fuck you, we'll beat you at anything. 100%. You put us up in 4A, 5A, 6A, screw you.
When we went to states, so we played, we went 17-0 my senior year, and the whip-wheel was the hardest to get through. Once we got through the whip-wheel,
states are different.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
There was nobody else that could fucking touch us.
Isn't that weird?
It's so crazy.
You get through your like a quarter to the third of the state, and then the rest of the state's poo.
It's garbage.
It's weird. It's like that in hoops, too.
We had, Aliquippa and Jeanette
then again, we lost, so I can't say shit.
Literally the highest scoring game in, whip-wheel history between Aliquippa and Jeanette. I can't remember. It was, 76-57.
Damn, dude, where's your defense at?
Bro, it was dumb. I mean, we won. We torched them.
Okay.
But it was so crazy because then when we got through, we won at Heinz Field. That's when we played at Heinz Field for whip-wheels. And then the state run was JV, bro. It was Mercy Rule, whatever else.
And you're playing in shit stadiums.
Yeah.
You play in all these badass stadiums, and then you play at Heinz Field. Then you get into states, and you're like, I'm playing at Hershey?
Yeah. Hershey is the shittiest field in the history of fucking shitty fields.
It doesn't make sense. Like, in my CJ attests to this more, is like when we made our whip-wheel runs, and we always played in the best high-end schools. Played it, what was it? Not PPG paints. Where does Pitt play for hoops?
I can't remember.
The Peterson Event Center.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's for a Peterson Event Center, and the girls were like, holy shit. And then states were on. We were in these dirt gyms.
Yeah.
For states, I'm like, we went from North Allegheny, North Hills,
Fox Chapel,
all these six schools. And our girls were like, holy shit, these are real.
Yeah.
And then we go to Shanksville. The fuck.
It is so official.
It is. I told you. It just needs that longer piece underneath.
Yeah, we need to where
the full size.
I think the
he's got it. He's running to get it. He goes, actually.
Do you have the whole thing, Ange? I want to see it. Throw that shit on the camera.
There it is.
Real quick. Bring it out. Let us see your beautiful face.
Put it together. I don't want half-assed. I want the whole thing.
So you can dry erase it.
Okay.
Look at that. Oh, that's so much better. Look at that.
Yeah,
boom. Right. That's official. We're going to do that. And then I want my guest name on top of it.
Yeah, Lending Heights.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Shout out to 6i again. But no, I think, like we said, whip-wheel is a whole different world, man.
Yeah.
They just build out athletes. So, have you heard of Sky Moore? Have you heard of him? So Sky Moore is actually he's my brother-in-law's nephew, so my actual nephew's blood cousin. He played at Shadyside. Shout out to Sky Moore. He's doing big things. We're going to see him in the draft here soon. So yeah. So he just did the combine.
Okay.
So he graduated. He grew up in New Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Played for Arcan and all them. Then ended up going to Shadyside Academy. So he played with the Tomlins kids and shit like that. Ended up going to Western Michigan. And I think he's a junior at Western Michigan. He decided to jump in the draft early. And, statistics are saying he's not going to make it past the third round. He's going to be picked up well before the third round. He's number 5 in the setup right
The draft
now.
This weekend or next weekend?
Ange? 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
From now.
Jeez, damn. I was like, I felt like it was always early April.
I think I'm anticipating it so much more because Sky's in it.
Okay.
So like I said, shout out to Sky. He's a freak. The things he did at Western Michigan was, they played Pitt. We came by and he got us tickets. We went to go see him play at Pitt. He's a freak, dude. He's a freak. And that's just like another testament was like, there's so much talent that comes out of the Western PA section. Like WPIAL, it's untouchable, dude. I don't know any counties, any areas, any divisions in the country that produce as many athletes on that level as Western Pennsylvania.
Wasn't there like a ESPN? Or there was some like 30 for 30.
There's been a handful.
I could have swore there was a show that like it hit on the Western Pennsylvania because Ditka had so much say in Aliquippa. That it brought a lot of light to it. But
there was something. I know when our senior year they did like a freshman introduction or whatever. So like Aliquippa had like Herb Pope. Mm-hmm. We had Terrell Pryor. We had Tony Clemens from Beaver Falls. There were so many of these cats that were just like grade A D1
talent
savages, bro. Like men amongst boys shit. Mm-hmm. So they had like a little special on that. They did like a big article, but I'm not sure of anything as of like recently. I know like Penn Trafford has like Cade Yakimelli. He just graduated. He's a senior this year. He just committed to Wisconsin. Like he's a savage, bro. There's so many good kids. It's just wild.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention.
Right.
Just honestly, because I don't care. But at the same time, it's like I'm at that point now. I'm like, ain't my kids. They ain't my kids. And if it wasn't for me being involved the way I'm involved and hearing about everything,
you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't have a freaking clue.
My thing is my son. So like my son's.
But your kids are there, so you know, you pay attention.
They're looking up to these kids the way that we looked up to Revis and all these other cats. Yeah. But it is wild, man. It's wild.
It's cool though that it's consistent.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
Absolutely.
It's not like they haven't had anything in a while. No, they're always pumping out talent.
Who's the next one? Yeah, who's next? Who's coming up?
Because there's always going to be somebody.
And you can tell from like the midget program.
You know, in 7th grade, 8th grade, like they're going to be a stud.
They're going to be an absolute monster.
Or she's going to be a stud. Mm-hmm. You know, you never know.
So, let me see here. I wanted to touch on that, but I also wanted to touch on before. We're going to go like rapid fire.
Let's go.
So we talk a lot about guns.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about, safety stuff. Now, I know you. So do you do a course for agents or you just help out here and there?
I help out. Long story short, didn't really get into the self-defense world until about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And just was like, oh, this is cool. This is something. It's a fun hobby. And you get better and you get better and you learn and you get there's an addiction to it.
100%.
And you're just like, well, this is pretty sweet.
And expensive.
It's expensive. Yeah. But back then it wasn't as bad.
No.
Now it's like freaking ridiculous.
It's getting a little bit better. Ammo prices are getting a little bit better if you know where to look.
Yeah, you have to hunt.
I'm not going to throw it out there, but I got a couple sites.
Well, I shared my sites and now they're screwed.
Yeah, no, I won't do that.
But I got excited about learning about it, and then you get to a point where you feel like I've learned a good bit, and then the police officers and the military guys that are running courses are like, we need you to help. And I'm like, I don't want to help. I don't know. We need you to just be a RO, range officer. Mm-hmm. Have their back, calm them down. They're going to practice. They're going to learn something. And honestly, I enjoy that. It's like an assistant, like the assistant coach.
Right.
You're just there to relax them and teach them a new skill. But it's like, you don't need to have this at home, but you should at least know how to use it if you had to use it. Right. So I don't do trainings or anything like that. It's always just, it's a fun thing that I enjoy, that if someone goes, I just bought this, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, please come with me and some people. Yes. I always bring my some friends.
So you're an outlet. You're absolutely especially with the industry that we're in. Like, we can't hide the fact that there's some sick fucking people out there in the world. So for you to even, whether it's you're at the top of the bar or you're just a liaison to help these people get into the right direction, these agents, these women especially that are, showing these houses at different times of days, whatever else. Yeah. If you can give them a little bit, that's huge.
And it doesn't have to be a gun.
Right.
Or a firearm. Which obviously is like great, but
the equalizer.
But you just have like conversations like, a freaking light.
Yeah.
A 1,000 lumen light blast someone. There's so many tools out there that people can have on them. That's like, it's not about, I'm going to kill them if they mess with me. It's you got to get away.
Right.
Because like getting away is safer than doing something that you regret for the rest of your life.
Of course.
And I've been around enough people that have showed me enough footage that you go, shit, I don't want to, it sounds cool in a movie.
Yeah.
And then you see the real shit.
Until it really.
And then you see enough footage of like what really happens with police officers when they're doing stuff, and especially your military buddies. So you just you always say, keep your head on a swivel.
Yes.
You never know. Don't ever. It's like the whole prejudging people.
Yeah. You have to.
You just got.
That's a hard line.
It's a human. It's just you're human.
But it's safe.
Yeah, and you just keep them at a distance. Yeah. You want to be friendly, but don't be too friendly. How do you walk that line?
Yeah.
So, but it's also like having extra tool, like people go mace. I talked to a couple of the ladies, and it's the guys too.
Yeah.
It's like having certain tools on you that are getaway tools, not. Mm-hmm. You don't want to end up in a bloodbath.
You're not Liam Neeson.
I've never been there. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to ever be in it.
Right.
So it's all about protecting and self-defense and making sure you're safe. Because there are sickos out there. And I'm sure you've talked to agents, ladies that like go into places and like, I agreed to this at when does it get dark out? 5 p.m. in November?
Yeah.
I don't want to show a house at 6:30 in a dark, weird part of town with some guy.
With this weirdo that I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. So that you go to enough trainings and you're around, and I help with like the ladies 101 with Blue Line firearms training.
Okay.
And it's fun to watch them. Like they're all on a line. The basic stuff.
Yeah. Simple.
But just get at the end of it confidence. Not like I'm John Wick, because that's what everyone always says. Oh, I'm gonna mess. No, you're not.
No.
But you are confident enough to know how to do the simple things.
Right.
And now take what you learned and then work on it.
Use it. Yeah.
And you see them at the range and they're working on things and they have instructors now, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's impeccable. I see it. I mean, real estate aside, there's so much to be worried about. With your wife or my fiance, like these situations where it's like, oh, hey, it's 9:30, I'm going to Target, and I'm like, strap up. You know what I mean? Like we worked on this.
You feeling frosty going to Target? Why not?
You have to be, because you never know. And like that's you see these things on the news, and the news they do such a good job of freaking everybody the fuck out that it's like, we talked about it when I had Tanner on the show. It was, it's better to be a warrior in the garden than be a gardener in the war.
Yeah.
Just you don't have to flex. You don't have to walk around with your head up, but just knowing that if shit pops off, I'll be okay. I can at least get to this stage.
I can get away.
Right.
And I'm fine. And my wife or kid, if they got a couple $100 from me, fuck, who cares?
So be it. Yeah. It's not worth the life of the loss.
But the big thing that people forget is like eye contact.
Yeah.
Like especially you're always looking at people. Look at them in the eye.
Yeah.
Let them know, like, I fucking see you.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, because they're not expecting that. Especially you're a little young, you're a good-looking girl or good-looking whatever, and they see, and you're like,
yeah, let them know.
I see you.
Yeah,
like,
let them know.
And they're like, well, you know what? That little, I'm not gonna mess with that one.
And that could be
huge.
The
life and death
difference maker,
for
sure. Where a lot of agents, they might not have that aspect where it's like, oh, I'm innocent. This. You give that persona, but if you let motherfuckers know, like, look, I'm a professional at this shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know what I'm doing. This isn't my first rodeo. That could be enough to deter a horrible, horrible situation from occurring, gun or not, like you said.
There's a lot of agents and companies out there that are working on that stuff. Mm-hmm. They're offering they're offering simple things.
Yes.
Just like get out of a chokehold, get out of if they grab me here, what to do.
Yeah.
And it's little things, and you go, I never would think, because in the heat of the moment, the adrenaline and the fear.
Yeah.
It's just like if you work on something enough, it just becomes habit.
Yeah.
And to get out of that, to get out of there, it's huge.
And I think the training aspect of it is so much more than like, you watch these movies, you see this shit on TV, it's like, I could do that. I could do this. Yeah. But until you put yourself into a controlled situation, like your motor skills go to shit, bro. Like immediate, like, you know, we're talking safeties, we're talking manipulating small objects, whatever else. When that shit hits the fan,
reloads, getting a jam,
it's
how
frozen.
to clear the
There's
a lot. Yeah,
you die. Period. So, you know, I've seen a couple things that you posted. You're involved with stuff like that. So obviously, you know, any agents out there that may or just have a question or just want to talk to you, and I'm sure you'd be willing to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
put
gonna
them
always
in the right direction.
I'm always gonna direct them to the professionals
For sure,
You know,
for sure.
When it comes to like hanging out, like if they were like, let's go hang out at the range. I got a new pistol, or I want to try something. I'm like, yeah, let's hang out. But I'm not qualified
For sure.
to run a class, even though I've been a part of many of them, and I can go through the 4 simple rules and then work off some basic fundamentals. But if they want to get like, I always say, this is what I learned, and these are who I learned it from, and you should do the same. And and it's a skill that diminishes quickly.
For sure.
And you're always, and the thing is, we're addicted. Let's be real.
It's bad.
We want to learn
So
more, so we're always looking at places like who's coming into town, who's offering training, who and what kind of training. What am I good at? What do I need to get better at? Because that's the one thing. Like, I think you and Dalton were like busting each other's balls. You're like, I have a better shot than you.
Better
I know,
shot?
and you know what went through my head? Oh, at what? At hitting something at 1,000 yards or a pistol draw? Like, can you pull your pistol? Like when the buzzer goes off, can you be on target and hit 3 shots in the same bunker in less than 1.5 seconds? I was like, what are you guys competing at?
Right.
Like, I'm like, is it a attack load or a emergency reload? I was like, what are you better at? I was like, is it just standing there static, shooting at a target from 15 yards? So I was like watching that going, oh, I wish I was there to call them out on that. Cause like, better shot at what? I was you know,
Well, I think we
there's
did
so much to
mention
it.
like shooting clays. We were talking about clays
I
in
don't do
general,
that. Yeah.
bird guns.
Okay.
But I definitely understand why you are taking it to a different level.
Because I was like, what? I was
And
like,
just to be clear, all of it. I'll beat Dalton at all of it.
he's the best ever.
I'm like John Wick, minus the staccato because I can't afford a fucking ATI.
Yeah, or the STI 2011 9mm.
Such a good gun, dude.
My
Such a
buddy
good
got
gun.
one. It's sweet.
It's like rails. Like it's like,
heavy as shit.
It's so good.
But at the same time, like, you have to have a hell of a freaking belt
Yeah.
to hold something like that. And then, granted, the mags are a little bit lighter. But
So I'm going to ask you that before we close out. Concealed carry holsters. What do you
I like C&G.
C&G?
They're out this way. Actually,
Yeah.
Well, your old office. What was Lenny Heights was in what?
We were in the Chona Heights.
C&G holsters was right at the red.
Okay.
So I like them.
C&G's decent.
Because I went to them. They used to have training. They haven't done it in a while. I doubt they're watching. But when they did have it, but their holsters have always been inside and outside the waistband.
Yeah.
Their mag carriers are legit.
Yeah.
It's hometown.
Yeah.
And that helps.
Local.
And you know, and you sit there and you go, well, I want to get my Safari Land. You know, my QLS.
Yeah.
You know,
Safari Lands are gangster, but
you can't. But dude, that's a lot.
You're
of
not
money.
taking that to Walmart either.
Yeah, I mean, for real, you're gonna with the leg strap and everything like
What
that.
do you feel about Alien Gear?
What's that?
Alien Gear? Do you follow
My
them
buddy loves them.
Yeah.
I don't have anything from them. Crossbreed.
Yeah.
I've always liked them.
Yeah,
A
they're
little
good.
bit of like leather and Kydex.
Yeah.
But Alien Gear is gonna. I think they're making moves, man. I
They
think
are.
that could be the new. That would be the
are.
one because they're not. They're like we'll adapt to anything.
They're literally like I can go outside, inside
With
I
one
can
holster.
Go appendix. I can go back. I can do everything with one holster.
And
one
they'll give you the
shell.
tools, and they'll be like just do this and change it
just
up,
swap them out. And then you might have to buy like this kit.
yeah,
but it's all.
but you're spending
universal.
half as much money.
Right.
Yeah, so-
I do like Alien Gear. That's probably where I'm going. Outside, so they have like they're still on the Serpa game.
Yeah.
I do want a Safari holster, so I just got a Canic TP9.
Those are
It's-
sweet. Did you
dude,
with the dot on it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my
I got
buddy
the
just
dot,
bought one
I got
too.
the threaded barrel, flared magwells. Like it's fucking. It's the cheapest race gun that you can. Legit
did you
with the
zero it in?
quality. I did.
How many yards?
I'm good at 50 right now with it.
You zeroed at 50?
Yeah.
So like 115 or 124 grain 9mm?
Yeah, I can run with it. Yeah,
Okay.
I can run with it. It's I'm still getting used to, so I've always been 40. Everything in my whole life is
Really?
40 cal.
Okay.
And then I'm slowly starting to like bridge into the 9mm world. just because I can carry a lot more, and the ballistics difference isn't that much.
That's what everyone forget, like especially the 45 versus 9mm guys.
So I read an article, and this is what fucked me up at the beginning. Full disclosure on my mistake was I read an article. So NYPD was running 9mm. They were running 9mm Glocks, and like SIGs, and they were dealing with gangbangers, all this shit. Where in the wintertime, these cats are wearing Carhartts and all kinds of shit. So they were popping these dudes. Shit was going on. They'd win, whatever. They put them on the table after the fight, and 60% of the rounds, like the critical defense rounds, hollow points,
the Hornady critical defense rounds,
they weren't getting through a lot of the material.
Kevlar.
Not even the Kevlar, just the Carhartts, hoodies, whatever else. So 9mm was like, so NYPD ended up jumping up to 40 cals.
How many years ago was this?
8.
I was going to say this is going to be.
So it's
nowadays it's different now.
It's a completely different game.
Yeah.
But that article was enough, and this was in like a Guns and Ammo magazine, right? So that was enough to put me past that point where it's like, I'm running 40s all day. Glock 23, full size 40, blah, blah, blah.
Glock 22.
And then, as I got older, so like the kick on my 23 or my 40.
They're poppy, man.
They are. They're snappy. And I still was super efficient with them. I liked them a lot. But then my boy, Big Mike, who I've shot out before, he's my best friend. He had a Glock. So it was a ZevTech. ZevTech made off the Glock frame. 9mm. All zev'd out, like Gucci Glock.
Oh,
shit.
They're fancy as hell,
bro.
It looks like it should be in a trophy case. Yeah,
like I felt like John Wick. I'm like, okay, maybe there's something I need. So looking at the data from then till now, 9mm has increased substantially. Whether you're talking Hornady, critical defense, Hydra-Shocks.
The Federal's Hydra-Shocks is the big one.
So
the 135 grain ones.
We expand on impact, baby. Like, so there was a big gap in the time. Like, it was just, you adapt to the times. So I jumped to the 9mm. The first 9mm I've ever bought was the Canic. And like I said, it was all Gucci'd out, flared magwells, got the red dot vortex on the top, threaded barrel. It's balanced flawlessly.
Does everyone in TV land understand what he's talking about, or is he talking straight nonsense?
We're running straight.
I know exactly what he's saying.
So I got the FDE. It's the Canic. It is the Elite Combat Elite.
That's a sick. My buddy just got not that one, but a similar one. Yeah. And we went down 2 months ago and
it's beautiful.
Dotted it in.
It's beautiful.
He was like, and he's not very good shot with a pistol. He can kill it with a iron sights on a rifle, but he sucks with the pistol.
Pistols are different. But grip is everything.
But tell you what, with the grip on that and the way that thing was balanced, he's a left-handed shooter. So he's coming up. So he's coming up with the right thumb up, and he was like, "Oh, this is it." I go, "Yeah." I was like, "It's huge." Yeah. He's got the tack light on it, and you have it the tack light.
Yeah, 100%.
And then the dot. Now, I mean, you're putting some weight on it, and it holds 20 rounds.
20, yeah. You can get a 20-round extension on it.
And then same thing with the. So I converted my Glock 22 and my Glock 23, my 40s into 9mm. So I got the 9mm conversion barrels.
Okay.
The conversion barrels now are thicker,
right?
Because you have to fit the slide,
right?
But obviously there's more steel.
Yes.
In order, and I tell you what, they're a killer now.
Yeah, they're gross.
Compared to it's like having it's.
I can't believe I cannot 9mm, 100%.
But it's the price, and I have tons of 40 because I bought the Glock 40s.
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with all those 40? So I bought a Kel-Tec Sub 2040, and I took and that thing don't pop as much because it's like a flip up rifle pistol thing. And convert it, and
they have the Pro now too, the Kel-Tec.
Yeah,
Pro.
it's way nicer. Dude, like the one I have is like it's my
the older version.
It's a flip up. It's my last thing that I have.
Use this.
It's like I'm like flipping up the phone to someone out of the truck. It's like, here you go, good luck. Because you have to know the iron sights on it.
For sure.
There's no dot because it's like it's unhinging it.
It's a whole bunch. Yeah,
but it's fun.
No, I love it.
It's a good hobby, but you got to be safe. It's like anything else. And like people that don't like, I don't like guns, and I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to like them.
But a lot of people, and I've noticed this over the years.
I don't like knives, but you need them to cut food. But you also could kill someone with that.
You could kill, the dudes that are in it, so I know a lot of vets. My father was in the Navy. My brother was in the Army. Like, I know a lot of vets personally, and the dudes that go to the knives first, those are the scary motherfuckers, bro.
Because they're like, I'm gonna cut you.
Like, I'm gonna look at you while, like, I can knock you down from 100 yards away, whatever else. I want to feel your blood on my hands.
and the thing
like
is,
the knife dudes are definitely a different.
But they've done
way.
it.
Yeah.
Because that means that they've unfortunately.
Yeah.
They've unfortunately have had to do things. And
how efficient.
And when you talk to them, guys, like, and you look them in the eye,
it's different.
And you see something in them.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's sorrow. There's.
You don't want to talk to them about, like, I want to change the subject.
They have to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with some of my friends, like, they've always had to bring it up. Like, as much as I want to talk, because it's to us civilians, like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
But then you talk to them, like, no, it's not cool.
It's not cool.
It's
at
actually
all.
terrible.
No. Like,
but they have it. It's in their. They can't erase that from their memories.
It's burned. It's burned, and they earn that.
They did.
And that's
what I respect.
It's our job to not take them down that path if they don't have to. But sometimes the motherfuckers get like, there's a lot of my buddies that they won't say shit unless we're, half a Buffalo Trace in, and then something comes up, and then
we'll have to buy. Tell you what, we're gonna go in on the next case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're because you guys work with broker settlements.
Yeah.
Rich loves Buffalo Trace. He says he buys it by the case. So if we can't find him around here, we'll call him up.
Get Rich up here.
Yeah, now shout out to him.
Yeah.
Other title companies like, why would you bring him up? I'm like, I love you. We'll order a couple cases, and then therefore we can distribute, and everybody gets it. If we can't buy it at the PA liquor store,
we'll run through it. Yeah. Well, listen, Ben, I'm super thankful for you to come out, man. I know you were a little bit hesitant. You're like, why do you want to talk to me? This is exactly why I wanted to talk to you, because you're real. You keep it real no matter what industry, no matter what application, whether it's basketball, whether it's real estate agents, whether it's just in Pittsburgh in general. Yeah. You keep it 100%, and that's why I had to have you on the show. I wanted you to be one of the top 10, first 10 ever to come in. Our next episode will be even better. But I really do thank you. I thank Real Producers for everything that you guys do. And, it was an absolute blast.
Nah, pleasure having me, man. This is great. And I always want to be like, now that I was on this and I see like the other podcasts, like, so when am I coming back?
Oh, 100%.
Like now we have to have a follow-up. Or I'll be a surprise guest. Like, you're not expecting
just randomly walk. Like Dave Chappelle does that with Joe
He did
Rogan
that with Joe.
Yeah.
And he had that one dude on his show.
Donnell Rollins.
And he's like, oh, dog, Dave's in the house?
Yeah.
Where's Dave? Dave, come in. And Joe's like, yeah, bring him on. But, dude, that episode, like, Darnell, he wasn't saying anything.
No.
He was so messed up. Like,
Darnell's I've seen him live actually at the Pittsburgh Improv.
Is he funny?
He's hilarious, bro. But he's just different. Like he's real. 100%.
Yeah, one of the first, my best memories of him was when he, oh shit, it's Wayne Brady. Everyone did. He runs him down, and that can't do that
Eat
shit
your
no more.
Sandwich, Dave. No, so that's on Netflix too, by the way.
I watch it.
Any of the younger kids haven't seen it, I have the DVD box set of Dave Chappelle. Like all of them, but they did put it on Netflix, which I couldn't believe after his last stand-up that they would okay it. Which I'm so happy that they did.
But it's just he's trying to be. He's just talking about it. It's just
some people don't want to know the truth. That's what it comes down to.
Truth hurts, man.
It's beautiful.
It is
beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw up your information. If anybody needs to get a hold of Ben, or has any questions about Real Producers, whatever it is. I mean, most of the agents know who the fuck Ben.
Oh, I got called out a few nights. Like, how come you haven't put me in the magazine? I'm like, shit, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Get your weight up. Get your weight up. So, again, thank you very much. We'll close out with that. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Keeping It Real Estate podcast. My name is Kenaniah, loan officer with Lending Heights Mortgage here in Oakmont, PA. If you guys have any questions, you want a mortgage, you want a job, whatever it is, give me a call. We'll get you squared up.
Thanks for having me, man.
Peace.
Yep.